December 18th, 1944, late afternoon. Somewhere in Belgium, riding in a truck. My name is James Kowalski. Everyone calls me Jimmy. Corporal, Communications Section, Headquarters Company, 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment, 101st Airborne Division. I'm 22 years old, from Pittsburgh. I'm riding this in the back of a deuce-and-a-half truck bouncing down some frozen Belgian road. My handwriting's going to be terrible. The truck keeps hitting potholes and my pen keeps jumping across the page. We left Mormelon last night. France. We were supposed to be resting. Clean uniforms, hot showers, real beds. Some of the guys were in Paris on pass. Then at 2100 hours, whistles started blowing. Every sergeant in camp running through the barracks screaming, "Get up, full gear, combat load, move, move, move." Nobody told us where we were going. Just get on the trucks. Half the company's still drunk from the cafes. I didn't even get my full winter gear issue. I've got my jump jacket and that's it. No overcoat. My gloves have holes in both thumbs. The SCR 300 radio is freezing already. I checked the battery 20 minutes ago and it's already sluggish. The cold is killing them. We're not even there yet and I'm already having equipment problems. Sergeant Del Vecchio is sitting across from me. Brooklyn guy. Built like a fire plug. He's been with the 506 since Tokoa. Knows everything about radios. He keeps checking his equipment too. Not saying much. That's not like him. Frank always has something to say. A joke. A complaint. Something. Eddie Martinez is dozing next to me. Texas. Good kid. Backup radio operator. He can sleep anywhere. I wish I could do that. We keep passing refugees going the other way. Belgian civilians with carts piled high with everything they own. Old people, kids, all of them heading west, away from wherever we're going. That's not a good sign. Some German prisoners just went past us, going west too. A whole column of them. Hundreds. They looked relieved, like they were happy to be prisoners. One of them was maybe 16, just a kid. Captain Winters came by about an hour ago. He didn't say much, just check your equipment, keep your radios working, we're going to need everyone. He looked tired, real tired. I keep thinking about my sister Helen. She's 17, senior year of high school, back in Pittsburgh. I promised I'd write her every week. I missed last week because of the move to Mormelon. She's probably worried. My brother Stan was infantry, 2nd Armored Division. He died at Kasserine Pass back in February of 43. Tunisia. I was still stateside when we got the telegram. I remember my mother reading it. She just stood there holding the paper. She didn't cry. She just stood there. She died 8 months later. Tuberculosis, the doctor said. But I think it was losing Stan. Her heart just broke. My father still works at the steel mill. I don't know if he even reads my letters. He wanted me to stay home, get a deferment for the mill. One son is enough, he said, but I enlisted anyway. I thought I could make Stan's death mean something. I thought I could do something that mattered. Now I'm in the back of a truck in Belgium and I don't know where we're going and everyone's scared and I'm wondering what the hell I was thinking. The sun's going down. It's getting colder. I can see my breath inside the truck. I should try to sleep. God knows when I'll get another chance. December 19th, 1944. Morning. Bastogne, Belgium. We got here just before dawn. Bastogne. That's the name of this town. It's old. Medieval. Stone buildings, narrow streets. There's a big town square in the middle with shops all around it. We're not resting here. We're digging in. The word came down from regiment. The Germans broke through to the east. Broke through the whole damn line. Somewhere called the Ardennes. 60 miles wide. Nobody knows how many Germans. Panzers, infantry, artillery, the whole Wehrmacht it sounds like. And Bastogne is right in the middle of it. There are 7 roads that come into this town. 7 roads from 7 different directions. The Germans need those roads, need them to get their supplies forward, need them to keep their offensive moving. So we're supposed to hold this town, stop them here. I'm set up in the cellar of a damaged building on Rue de Neufchâteau, western side of town. The building took a shell hit a few days ago. Half the second floor is gone, but the cellar is intact. Stone walls. Good cover. It's cramped down here, maybe 10 feet by 12. Stone floor, stone walls, stone ceiling. Damp. Cold. There's one small window at ground level, mostly blocked by sandbags now. One door leading to a stairway up to the street. We've got a candle for light. That's it. The SCR 300 is set up in the corner, antenna running up through a hole we knocked in the ceiling, out through the rubble to the roof. I've got spare batteries lined against the wall, 4 battery packs. That's maybe 8 hours of operation if I'm lucky, less in this cold. The SCR 694 is here too. That's the long range set, needs vehicle battery power. We've got it hooked to a Jeep battery that we have to carry down here every morning and haul back up at night. Can't leave it down here, too cold. The battery would die overnight. Sergeant Del Vecchio is setting up the communication schedule now. Radio checks every hour with battalion. Emergency frequency always monitored. Authentication codes change at midnight. Today's codes are flash and thunder. You say flash, they say thunder. That's how you know you're talking to Americans and not Germans on a captured radio. There are Belgian civilians still in town, hundreds of them, maybe thousands. They're in their cellars, too, scared. Some of them are trying to leave, but the roads east are cut. Roads north and south are under fire. West is the only way out, and it's getting narrower by the hour. I saw American stragglers coming through all morning, guys from units that got overrun to the east. 28th Infantry Division, 9th Armored. They look like hell. 1,000-yard stairs, no equipment. Some of them wounded. They're getting reorganized, being assigned to defend sectors of the perimeter, because we're making a perimeter, all around Bastogne. The 506th has the western sector, 501st to the north, 502nd to the east, 3rd Battalion, 327th Glider Infantry to the south, plus some tank destroyers, artillery engineers. Altogether maybe 18,000 men to hold this town, and God knows how many Germans outside. I can hear artillery. Distant. To the east and north. It's been going on since we got here. Sounds like thunder. Constant. It makes the ground vibrate. You can feel it in your chest. Captain Winters stopped by an hour ago. He wanted to make sure we could reach battalion. I did a radio check. Clear signal. He looked relieved. He said, "You're our lifeline, Kowalski. You and Martinez. We need you functioning at all times, understood?" I said, "Yes, sir." He put his hand on my shoulder. "I mean it, Jimmy. No heroes. You stay in this cellar. You keep that radio working. That's your job. That's how you keep people alive." Then he left. Eddie is upstairs scrounging for food. Anything the civilians left behind. Furniture to burn. Anything useful. I'm alone with the radio, with the static, with the voices checking in every hour, companies reporting positions, battalion confirming. The routine of military communication. It's comforting somehow. The routine, the procedure, call signs and authentication codes and proper radio protocol. It makes sense. It has rules. Everything else is chaos. But the radio makes sense. I wish Helen could see this radio. She always loved my amateur radio setup back home. I built a crystal set when I was 14, pulled in stations from Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland. She'd sit next to me for hours, listening to music and news and ball games. She thought it was magic. This isn't magic. This is an SCR 300, frequency modulation, 40 to 48 megahertz, range of 3 miles, line of sight. Less in buildings and woods, weighs 32 pounds with batteries. The battery is a BA-70, supposed to last 8 hours. In normal conditions, these aren't normal conditions. The cold is going to kill these batteries fast. I'm going to have to keep spare batteries inside my jacket, against my skin, use my body heat to keep them alive. Eddie just came back. He found some potatoes and a chunk of sausage. We heated them over the candle. First hot food since yesterday. It's getting dark outside. The artillery is louder. I can hear small arms fire now. To the east, rifle fire, machine guns. It's starting. December 19th, 1944. Evening. Bastogne. First contact. It happened at dusk. German. Probing attack on the eastern perimeter. 502nd sector. I was monitoring the battalion net when it came through. The voice on the radio was calm. Professional. Spearhead 6. This is Easy 3-6. We have contact. Enemy infantry, approximately platoon strength, moving through woods to our front. Engaging now. Then you could hear it in the background. The gunfire. The rattle of machine guns. Someone shouting. Easy 3-6. This is Spearhead 6. Acknowledged. Do you need artillery support? Negative at this time. We're holding. Will advise. Then another voice. Different company. Spearhead 6. This is Dog 2-6. We have movement to our front as well. Multiple contacts. Requesting artillery concentration Baker 2 on our front. Dog 2-6. Wait 1. Then battalion calling the artillery net. Coordinates. Fire mission. The careful, precise language of death. I sat there in the cellar listening to it all. My job is to relay messages between our company and battalion, to keep the communication flowing, but at that moment I was just listening, hearing it happen, hearing men fight and die through the static. The attack lasted maybe 20 minutes, then it stopped. The radio traffic calmed down. Casualty reports came in. Baker Company, 502nd Regiment, 2 killed, 4 wounded, enemy casualties unknown. Enemy withdrew. A probing attack. They were testing our positions, seeing where we are, where we're weak. They'll come again. Harder. We got our own excitement about an hour later. German artillery, not much, maybe a dozen rounds. They hit the southern part of town, near the aid station. 1 round hit a building 2 blocks from here. I felt it through the floor. The candle fell over. Del Vecchio was upstairs and came running down, thinking the building was hit. We're okay, I told him. Close, but okay. He checked the radio, checked the antenna connection. Everything's still working. He nodded. Good. Keep it that way. Then he went back upstairs to his position. I'm alone again. It's full dark now. The candle is burning low. I've got 1 more. Then I'll be in the dark. I just did a radio check with battalion. They confirmed all companies reporting normal activity. Sporadic, small arms fire. Some artillery. No major attacks. Then the radio operator at battalion, a guy named Harris, he said something off protocol. He said, "Hey, Reliable Dog Easy. You guys okay down there?" Reliable Dog Easy. That's my call sign. Reliable is regiment. Dog is company. Easy is the communication section. I said, "Roger, Spearhead. We're fine. Cold but fine." He said, "It's going to get colder. Weather report says temperature dropping tonight. Maybe down to 0. Keep your batteries warm." I said, "Roger. Will do." He said, "Good luck, Dog Easy." That's when I knew. When he said good luck, that's not protocol. You don't say that unless things are bad. I checked the battery in the radio. It's already weaker than it should be. I changed it out. Put the dead one inside my jacket, against my chest. The cold metal against my skin made me gasp. But it'll warm up. It has to. I've got 2 batteries inside my jacket now, 1 on each side. The weight is awkward, and the cold is brutal. But they're already warming up. I can feel it. Eddie is sleeping in the corner, wrapped in a blanket, snoring softly. I wish I could sleep. But someone has to monitor the radio. Someone has to stay awake. It's so quiet down here. Just the hiss of the radio static, the drip of water somewhere in the darkness, my own breathing, and outside, in the distance, the rumble of artillery, constant, like a storm that never ends. I keep thinking about Stan, about Tunisia, about Kasserine Pass. Did he sit in a hole somewhere listening to artillery like this? Was he scared? Did he think about home? I never got to ask him, never got to hear his stories. He died and all we got was a telegram. The Secretary of War desires me to express his deep regret that your son, Sergeant Stanley Kowalski, was killed in action. That's all. Just words on a page, no story, no details, just killed in action. I used to imagine how it happened. Did he die fast? Did it hurt? Was he alone? I don't imagine it anymore. Now I'm here and I know how men die in war. I've seen it. I've heard it on the radio. I've relayed the casualty reports. They die hard. They die screaming. They die calling for their mothers. They die alone in the mud and nobody knows their last thoughts or last words because there's nobody there to hear them. Is that how Stan died? I can't think about that. I have to focus. I have to keep the radio working. My hands are cold. Even inside the cellar, it's freezing. I can see my breath in the candlelight. The stone walls are covered in frost. This is going to be a long night. December 20th, 1944. Morning, Bastogne. We're surrounded. The word came down at 0600. All roads into Bastogne are cut. Germans on all sides. North, south, east, west, everywhere. We're completely surrounded. General McAuliffe called a meeting of all commanders at 0700. I heard the radio traffic afterward. He told them, "We're paratroopers. We're supposed to be surrounded." Then he laid out the defensive plan. Hold the perimeter. Ration ammunition and food. Wait for relief. Wait for relief. How long? Nobody knows. Days. Maybe a week. Maybe more. And in the meantime, no resupply, no reinforcements, no medical evacuation. Nothing comes in. Nothing goes out. We're on our own. The company got word at 0800. Captain Winters assembled everyone who wasn't on the line. Maybe 30 guys. He kept it short. Gentlemen, we are now surrounded. The Germans control all roads in and out of Bastogne. Our mission is to hold this town until Third Army breaks through and relieves us. That could be 3 days, could be a week. Until then, we conserve ammunition, we conserve food, and we do our jobs. Questions? Someone asked about air support. Winter said the weather's too bad, fog down to the ground, no visibility, nothing can fly. Someone asked about supplies. Winter said we have what we have, make it last. Someone asked how many Germans. Winter said, enough, more than enough. Then he dismissed us. Del Vecchio came down to the cellar after. He sat on an ammo crate and lit a cigarette. He doesn't usually smoke. He quit a year ago. But he's smoking now. Frank, I said, you okay? He took a long drag, blew out the smoke. Yeah, I'm okay. He was quiet for a minute. Then he said, you know what the worst part is? We don't even have our full gear. Half the guys don't have winter boots. No overcoats, no cold weather sleeping bags. We deployed too fast. We just threw shit in trucks and drove. I nodded. My feet are already cold. I've got 2 pairs of socks, but my boots aren't insulated. My toes are numb. He stood up. Keep that radio working, Jimmy. Battalion needs to talk to division. Division needs to talk to Corps. Corps needs to tell Third Army where the hell we are so they can come get us. You're the link. Don't let that radio die. I said I wouldn't. He nodded and went back upstairs. I've been doing radio checks every hour since then. All companies reporting in. Baker Company reports German movement to their front. Charlie Company reports artillery fire. Able Company reports all quiet. And in between the reports, I sit here and think about being surrounded. It's a strange feeling, knowing there's no way out, knowing that in every direction there are Germans, thousands of them, tens of thousands maybe. And here we are, 18,000 Americans in a medieval Belgian town surrounded by an entire German army. Stan was surrounded at Kasserine. His unit got cut off, overrun. That's how he died, I know that much. The details came later from guys who survived. They said it was chaos. Panzers coming from 3 sides. American units breaking and running. Stan's company tried to hold a ridge. They got flanked, destroyed. I wonder if Stan knew it was hopeless. If he knew they were going to die. Did he fight anyway? Did he run? I want to believe he fought. That he held his position. That he died well. But I don't know. I'll never know. And now I'm surrounded too, just like he was. I'm trying not to think about it, trying to focus on the radio, on the procedures, on the familiar rhythm of call signs and acknowledgements in Roger Wilkos. But in the quiet moments, in between the transmissions, I think about it, about being trapped, about no way out. The Germans are out there, right now, in the woods, in the villages around us, watching us, waiting. And all we can do is sit here and wait for them to attack. I'm scared. I can admit that here, in my diary. I'm scared. My hands are shaking, not from the cold, from fear. I look at my hands holding this pen and they're trembling and I can't make them stop. What if the radio fails? What if the battery dies and I can't warm it up fast enough? What if we lose communication and the company can't call for artillery and men die because I couldn't keep the equipment working? What if I fail? What if I let everyone down like I let Stan down? I wasn't there. When he died, I was stateside, safe, training, and he was in Tunisia dying and I wasn't there. I can't fail again. I can't. I have to keep this radio working, no matter what. That's my job. That's how I keep people alive. The battery in the radio is at half charge. I just swapped it for a warm one from inside my jacket. The cold one goes against my chest. It's like putting ice against my skin. It hurts, but it'll warm up. Eddie is upstairs. Del Vecchio sent him to scrounge for anything useful: food, fuel, blankets, anything. I'm alone with the radio again. The static is steady, reliable, it's almost comforting. The white noise, the occasional crackle, the voices checking in. Spearhead 6, this is Able 2-6, radio check, over. Able 2-6, Spearhead 6, loud and clear. How me? Over. Loud and clear. Out. Over and over. Every hour. All companies. All day. It's routine. It's normal. It's the illusion that everything's under control. But everything's not under control. We're surrounded. We're cut off. And the Germans are coming. It's just a matter of time. December 20th, 1944. Evening. Bastogne. Rations started today. The word came down at noon. Food rations. Ammunition rations. Everything rationed. Food is 1 meal a day. K rations or C rations. 1 meal. That's it. And the meals are supposed to be shared. 10-in-1 rations divided among however many men are in your position. We've got 6 guys at this CP. 1 box feeds 10 for 1 day. So we've got more than we need, technically. But it still feels like starvation. Ammunition is worse. 10 rounds per gun per day unless you're under attack. Artillery is 10 rounds per battery per day. That's nothing. That's barely enough to register the guns, let alone support an attack or break up a German assault. 10 rounds per battery. We've got 4 artillery battalions supporting the division. That's 40 rounds total per day for the entire 101st Airborne. 40 rounds. The Germans are probably firing that many every 10 minutes. Captain Winters explained it at the evening briefing. We shoot only when we have to. We make every round count. And we pray that 3rd Army gets here before we run out. He didn't say what happens if we run out. I know what happens. I've heard the stories from guys who were at Market Garden. When you run out of ammunition, you use German weapons. German ammunition. You scrounge from the dead. Yours and theirs. And when that runs out, you use bayonets, knives, rocks, whatever you can find. And when that doesn't work anymore, you die. I'm trying not to think about that. The temperature dropped today. It's maybe 10 degrees now, maybe less. The coldest December in decades, someone said. Perfect timing. My feet are numb. I can't feel my toes. I keep wiggling them inside my boots, but I can't tell if they're moving. That's how numb they are. Eddie came back this afternoon with a small sack of potatoes and a half-full tin of coffee. Real coffee. God knows where he found it. Some abandoned house, probably. Some Belgian family that fled and left everything behind. We boiled water over a candle. Made coffee. It took forever. The water wouldn't boil. Too cold. But eventually it got hot enough. We shared the coffee. 6 of us passing around 2 tin cups. The coffee was weak. Barely more than brown water. But it was hot. And it was coffee. It was the best thing I've tasted in days. We roasted the potatoes in the coals of a fire someone built in an oil drum upstairs. Ate them with salt scrounged from God knows where. No butter, no gravy, just potatoes and salt. It felt like a feast. Funny how that works. A week ago, in Mourmelon, we had hot meals 3 times a day. Meat, vegetables, bread, butter. All the coffee we wanted. We complained about it, said the meat was tough, the coffee was weak, the bread was stale. Now a roasted potato and weak coffee feels like Christmas dinner. Speaking of Christmas, it's 5 days away. December 25th. Christmas Day. Will we still be here? Will we still be surrounded? Will we even be alive? I wonder what Helen's doing right now. She's probably getting ready for Christmas, helping our aunt decorate, baking cookies maybe. She loves Christmas. She used to spend weeks making presents for everyone. Little things. A scarf she knitted. Drawings. Poems written out in careful handwriting on nice paper. I wonder if she's making something for me, not knowing where I am, not knowing if I'll ever get it. I wrote her last week, before we deployed. I told her I was fine, that we were resting in France, that the food was good and the beds were soft and I was safe. All of that was true. A week ago. Now none of it's true. Now I'm in a cellar in Belgium, surrounded by Germans, freezing and hungry and scared, and I can't tell her any of it. I can't write and say, Helen, I might die here. I might die in the next week, and you'll get a telegram just like we did for Stan, and I'm so sorry, but I love you and I tried. I can't write that. So I won't write anything, not until this is over, not until I can write something that won't terrify her. If I survive, I'll write. I'll tell her some sanitized version. I'll say it was cold and we were surrounded, but it wasn't too bad and we got through it fine. If I don't survive, someone else will write. The army will send a telegram, just like before. The Secretary of War desires me to express his deep regret. God, I can't think about that. I have to focus. I have to do my job. The radio check just came through, all companies reporting, sporadic contact, small arms fire, some artillery, no major attacks. The Germans are still probing, still testing, learning our positions, our strength, our weaknesses. Tomorrow they'll attack for real, or the next day, or the day after that, but they'll attack, that's certain. And when they do, this radio is the only thing keeping us connected, the only way for companies to call for help, the only way for battalion to coordinate the defense. My hands are cold. I can barely hold the pen. The ink is almost frozen. I have to warm it with my breath every few words just to keep it flowing. I should stop writing, save my energy, get some sleep. But I can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see Stan. I see him in Tunisia, in some foxhole, surrounded, knowing he's going to die. I see his face, scared, alone. And then I see my own face, here, now, surrounded, scared, alone. Is this what he felt? Is this what his last days were like? I wish I could ask him. I wish I could talk to him. Just once. Just to know. But he's gone. And I'm here. And all I can do is sit in this cellar with this radio and hope I don't die the same way he did. God, I'm tired. So tired. But I can't sleep. Someone has to watch the radio. Someone has to keep the message going through. December 21st, 1944. Afternoon. Bastogne. The cold is worse than the Germans. I know that sounds crazy. We're surrounded by an entire Wehrmacht army group. Panzers and artillery and tens of thousands of infantry. They want to kill us. They're actively trying to kill us. But right now, this afternoon, sitting in this frozen cellar, the cold feels like the bigger enemy. My hands are white. Not just pale. White. Like frost. I can't make a fist. My fingers won't close all the way. When I try to adjust the radio tuning knob, I can barely grip it. I have to use both hands just to turn a simple knob. My feet are worse. I can't feel them at all. Not numb, not tingling, just nothing. Like they're not there. I took my boots off an hour ago to check. My socks are damp, my feet are pale gray. 2 of my toes are dark. Frostbite. I put the socks back on, put the boots back on. There's nothing else to do. No warm water to soak them, no dry socks to change into, no heated room to thaw them out, just cold boots and damp socks and frozen feet and the hope that they don't get worse. Eddie is the same. We compared feet. His are worse than mine. 3 toes are black. He can't walk right. He's limping, but he won't go to the aid station. They've got guys with bullet wounds, he said. Real injuries, not just cold feet. I'm staying here. Del Vecchio came down an hour ago. He looked at our feet, he looked at the radio, he looked at us, then he went back upstairs and came back 10 minutes later with a small bottle. Whiskey. God knows where he got it. Drink this, he said. Both of you. It'll help. We passed the bottle around, 3 swallows each. It burned going down, burned all the way to my stomach. But then warmth spread through me. Not real warmth, not enough to actually heat me up. But the feeling of warmth, the illusion of it. That was something. Keep moving, Del Vecchio said. Every hour, get up, walk around, move your feet, move your hands. Don't just sit there. Movement keeps the blood flowing. Blood flow keeps you alive. Then he left again. So now Eddie and I take turns. One person monitors the radio, one person walks around the cellar, back and forth, 10 feet one way, 10 feet back, over and over, trying to keep our feet alive. It's ridiculous. We're in a war, surrounded by Germans, and we're walking in circles in a cellar trying not to get frostbite. But that's the reality. The cold is killing us as surely as bullets would, maybe slower, but just as dead. The battery situation is critical. I'm keeping 2 batteries inside my jacket at all times now, against my bare skin, one on each side. The cold metal is agony at first, like being stabbed, but after a few minutes they warm up. And when they're warm enough, I swap them into the radio and put the cold ones against my skin and start over. It's a constant cycle. Check the radio, swap the battery, warm the cold one, check the radio, swap the battery, over and over, all day, all night. If I stop, the batteries die. If the batteries die, the radio dies. If the radio dies, we're cut off. If we're cut off, people die. So I don't stop. Eddie brought food earlier. He found a cache of sea rations in a damaged house, 3 boxes. We split 1 box among 6 guys, a few crackers each, a tiny can of cheese, a piece of chocolate. The chocolate was frozen solid. I couldn't bite into it. I had to shave pieces off with my knife and let them melt on my tongue. It took 15 minutes to eat a 1-inch piece of chocolate, but God, it was good, sweet, rich, a taste of home, a taste of normal life, a taste of something that wasn't fear and cold and hunger. Martinez cried while he ate his chocolate, just sat there with tears running down his face, eating his little piece of chocolate. Nobody said anything. We all understood. The radio traffic has been steady all day, companies reporting in, German activity to the front, movements in the woods, vehicles heard but not seen, artillery fire, small arms exchanges, no major attacks yet, just probing, harassment, keeping us on edge, wearing us down. It's working, everyone's exhausted. We've been here 3 days and it feels like 3 weeks. No sleep, no food, no warmth, just constant vigilance, constant fear, constant cold, and the Germans haven't even really attacked yet. When they do, when they come, with everything, with their panzers and their artillery and their infantry. How long can we hold? Days? Hours? I don't know. Nobody knows. Captain Winters came by at noon. He wanted a status report on communications. I told him all equipment functioning. All companies in contact. No communication failures. He nodded. Then he asked, "You doing okay, Kowalski?" I said, "Yes, sir." He looked at my feet, at my hands, at my face. He knew I was lying, but he didn't call me on it. "Third Army is coming," he said. "Patton's Third Army. They're pushing north. They'll break through. They'll get here. We just have to hold until they do." "How long, sir?" I asked. He paused. Then he said, "I don't know. Days. Maybe a week. But they're coming." Then he left. Days. Maybe a week. 7 more days of this cold. 7 more days of no food. 7 more days of German attacks. 7 more days of fear. Can we last 7 more days? I don't know. I'm writing this by candlelight. The flame keeps flickering. The wax is almost gone. When this candle burns out, I'll have 1 more. Then I'll be in the dark. In the dark with the radio static and the cold and the fear. Stan, if you can hear me somehow, if you're out there somewhere, I need you to know something. I'm trying. I'm trying to be brave like you. I'm trying to do my job. I'm trying not to let anyone down. But I'm scared. I'm so scared. And I'm cold. And I'm hungry. And I don't know if I'm going to make it. But I'm trying. I'm still trying. That has to count for something, doesn't it? December 22nd, 1944. Morning, Bastogne. They want us to surrender. It happened at dawn. German soldiers approached under a white flag. 2 officers. They carried a message. A written ultimatum from the German commander. I wasn't there. I was in the cellar, monitoring the radio. But I heard about it immediately. The whole perimeter heard about it. Word spread like fire. The message was formal, military. It said the situation was hopeless. Bastogne was surrounded. No relief was coming. American losses would be severe. Honorable surrender was the only sensible option. They gave us 2 hours to decide. The message went up the chain. Company to battalion to regiment to division to General McAuliffe. I monitored the radio traffic, listened to the confusion, the anger, the dark humor. They want us to what? Surrender. That's what they're saying. Tell them to go to hell. That's probably what the general will say. 2 hours. We sat in the cellar and waited. Eddie paced. Del Vecchio smoked. I monitored the radio and waited for the response to come down. It came at 09:30. McAuliffe's response, 1 word. Nuts. That's it. That's what he told the Germans. Nuts. The German officers were confused. They didn't understand American slang. So Colonel Harper, who delivered the message, explained it to them. It means go to hell, he said. The Germans understood that. When the response came across the radio net, you could hear the cheers in the background. Every CP, every command post, men cheering. We cheered too. Down in the cellar, 6 of us, cheering in a frozen stone cellar surrounded by Germans who want to kill us, cheering because our general told them to go to hell. It was defiant. It was brave. It was American. It was also terrifying, because refusing surrender means we're going to fight. It means the Germans are going to attack with everything they have. It means men are going to die, a lot of men. And I'm going to be here, in this cellar, with my radio, listening to it happen. Del Vecchio came down after the cheering stopped. He was smiling, but his eyes were serious. They're going to hit us hard now, he said. Really hard. The artillery is going to be bad, real bad. You two need to be ready. Keep the radio working no matter what, understood? We said yes. He nodded. Good, because once they start, it's not going to stop until either they break through or we break them. And we're not breaking, so we hold. We hold and we keep communicating and we wait for Patton. Then he went back upstairs. Eddie and I looked at each other. Neither of us said anything. What was there to say? The Germans will attack, we'll defend, and people will die. That's war. I checked the battery. I checked the antenna. I checked every connection. Everything is working. Everything is ready. Now we wait. I wrote a letter to Helen. In my diary. Not a real letter I can send. Just words on paper that she'll never read unless I die and someone finds this diary and sends it home. Dear Helen, if you're reading this, I'm dead. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I wanted to come home. I wanted to see you graduate. I wanted to walk you down the aisle someday. I wanted to be there. But I'm here instead. In Belgium. In a town called Bastogne. And I'm probably going to die here. I want you to know that I wasn't alone. I was with good men, brave men. We were doing something that mattered. We were holding the line. We were fighting for something bigger than ourselves. I want you to know that I thought of you every day, every single day. You were the reason I kept going, the reason I tried to stay alive. You and Dad, you were my home. I want you to know that I loved you, that I love you, that I'll always love you. Be strong, Helen. Be braver than me. Live a good life. Find someone who makes you happy. Have children. Tell them about their Uncle Stan. Tell them about their Uncle Jimmy. Tell them we tried. I love you. I'm sorry. I love you. Jimmy. I closed the diary. I put the pen down. My hands are shaking. I don't want to die. I don't want to die in this cellar. I don't want to die surrounded by Germans in a frozen Belgian town that nobody's ever heard of. I want to go home. I want to see Helen. I want to sit at the kitchen table and drink coffee and listen to the radio and feel safe. But I can't. That's not my choice to make. My choice is to stay here, to keep this radio working, to do my job. That's all I can control. The Germans will attack. I can't stop that. Men will die. I can't stop that either. But I can keep this radio working. I can keep the communication flowing. I can help coordinate the defense. I can maybe help keep some men alive. That's my job. That's how I honor Stan. That's how I survive this. The radio crackled. A new message. All stations this net. This is Spearhead 6. Be advised. Enemy artillery activity increasing. All personnel take cover. I say again, enemy artillery. Increasing. Take cover. Acknowledged by stations. Out. One by one the companies acknowledged. Able 26 acknowledges. Baker 26 acknowledges. Charlie 26 acknowledges. Reliable Dog Easy acknowledges. That was me. That was my voice. Calm. Professional. Like I've done 100 times. Like it's just another radio check. Just another message. Just another day. But it's not. The artillery is coming. The attack is coming. And all I can do is sit here with my radio and wait. December 22nd, 1944, evening. Bastogne. Hell came at noon. Artillery. German artillery. More than I've ever heard. More than I knew existed. It started with a few ranging shots. 3 rounds. 4. Finding the range. Adjusting. Then it opened up. Everything at once, every gun they had, dozens of them, hundreds maybe. All firing at once, all firing at Bastogne. The sound was unimaginable. Not individual explosions, just one continuous roar, like the earth was tearing itself apart. The cellar shook, dust fell from the ceiling. The candle went out. I was on the radio when it started, talking to battalion, mid-sentence. Then the first shells hit and the building above us lurched, and I heard screaming from upstairs and the radio went dead. Dead. No signal. Nothing. I checked the connections, the antenna, everything. The antenna cable was severed, cut by falling debris. Antenna's down, I yelled to Eddie. I need to fix it. He grabbed my arm. You can't go up there. You'll be killed. The radio's dead. We're cut off. Another shell hit close. The whole building shook. More debris fell. I could hear wood splintering, stone cracking. I have to fix it, I said. I grabbed the spare antenna cable, pulled on my helmet, started for the stairs. Eddie tried to stop me. Del Vecchio appeared in the doorway. His face was covered in dust, blood running from his scalp. What happened? He shouted over the noise. Antenna's cut, I shouted back. I have to fix it. No, he yelled. Too dangerous. We're cut off, I yelled. Battalion can't reach us. We can't call for support. I have to fix it. Another shell. Closer. The building lurched again. Del Vecchio grabbed my jacket, put his face close to mine. 5 minutes, he shouted. You've got 5 minutes. Then you come back down, whether it's fixed or not. Understood? I nodded. He let go. I ran up the stairs. The street level was destroyed. The walls I remembered were gone. Just rubble. The sky was visible through a massive hole in the roof. Smoke everywhere. The smell of explosives. The screaming of shells incoming. I found the antenna cable. It was buried under a fallen beam. I pulled at it, yanked it. It wouldn't come free. A shell hit 2 buildings down. The shockwave knocked me flat. My ears rang. I couldn't hear anything but a high-pitched whine. I got up, pulled at the cable again. It came free. I traced it to the break. 15 feet from the radio. The break was clean. Shrapnel probably. I pulled out the spare cable. Started connecting it. My hands were shaking. I couldn't make them stop. Another shell. This one hit the building next door. Debris rained down. Something hit my helmet. Hard. I saw stars. Keep working. Just keep working. I got the cable connected, fed it back through the hole to the cellar, ran the other end up through the rubble to the highest point I could reach, extended the antenna, 7 feet. Not ideal, but it would have to do. Another shell, and another. The ground was shaking constantly now. I couldn't tell where individual impacts were. It was all one continuous earthquake. I ran for the stairs, down into the cellar. Eddie grabbed the cable, started connecting it to the radio. Is it good? I yelled. He flipped the power switch, adjusted the frequency. Static. Beautiful static. Signal. It's good, he yelled back. I collapsed against the wall. My whole body was shaking. I couldn't control it. I just shook. Del Vecchio appeared at the top of the stairs. Radio working? He yelled down. Working? Eddie yelled back. Good. Stay down there. Don't come up. Then he was gone again. The barrage continued. On and on. Minutes. Hours. I lost track of time. The world narrowed to the cellar. The radio. The shaking walls. The falling dust. Eddie monitored the radio. I sat against the wall and shook and tried to remember how to breathe. The radio traffic was chaos. Every company reporting. Under heavy fire. Taking casualties. Need artillery support. Need reinforcements. Need help. Battalion trying to coordinate. Trying to direct artillery. But our artillery was rationed. 10 rounds per battery. How do you support an entire perimeter with 40 rounds? You don't. You pick the most critical spots. You let the rest fend for themselves. I listened to it all. Listened to men die. Listened to positions get overrun. Listened to the calm professional voices trying to maintain order in the chaos. And slowly, gradually, the barrage slackened. Not stopped, just less intense. Still shells falling, still explosions, but not the overwhelming fury of before. And then we heard small arms fire. Machine guns, rifles, close, very close. The Germans were attacking. I grabbed the radio handset from Eddie. Spearhead 6, this is Reliable Dog Easy. We are under direct assault. Enemy infantry approaching building. Request immediate artillery support on our position. Reliable Dog Easy, what are your coordinates? I read them off. Grid coordinates for our building. Artillery would be falling danger close. But if the Germans got inside, We were dead anyway. Reliable dog easy, Roger. Artillery inbound. 30 seconds. Take cover. I counted. 29, 30, 31. Then I heard it. Incoming. Ours. American artillery. The shriek of the shells. Different from German shells. Higher pitched. The impact. Maybe 50 yards away. Then another. Closer. Then another. The radio crackled. Reliable dog easy. Artillery on target. Over. I could hear the explosions. Could hear screaming outside. German screaming. Spearhead 6. Artillery on target. Effective. Enemy falling back. They're falling back. Reliable dog easy, Roger. Ceasefire. Out. The artillery stopped. The small arms fire continued. But farther away. The Germans were withdrawing. We'd held. For now. I sat down. Put my head in my hands. Started shaking again. Eddie put his hand on my shoulder. Didn't say anything. Just left it there. We sat like that for I don't know how long. The radio traffic continued. Casualty reports, status reports, position checks, the routine business of war. Del Vecchio came down eventually. His head was bandaged. His jacket was torn. He looked at us, looked at the radio, looked at the ceiling. Good work, he said. Both of you. Then he sat down on an ammo crate, lit a cigarette. His hands were shaking too. We sat in silence. 3 men in a cellar, shaking, smoking, listening to the radio. Outside, the shells were still falling. The war was still happening. But in the cellar, for just a moment, we were still alive. And that was enough. December 22nd, 1944, late evening, Bastogne. I can't stop my hands from shaking. It's been hours since the attack. Hours since I fixed the antenna. Hours since the artillery nearly killed us all. My hands won't stop shaking. I'm trying to write this by candlelight. The pen keeps jumping. The letters are barely readable. But I need to write this down. I need to remember. I need to process what happened. We almost died today. Not almost like a close call. Not almost like a shell landed nearby and we ducked. Almost like the building above us partially collapsed. Almost like German infantry was 20 feet from our position. Almost like if that artillery support had been 30 seconds later, they would have been inside the cellar and we would have been fighting hand to hand in the dark. We almost died. And the only reason we didn't is because the artillery arrived in time. Because someone at battalion heard my call and responded. Because some artillery crew fired fast and accurate and stopped the Germans just short of our position. I don't know who they were. I don't know their names. But they saved my life today, and I can't stop shaking. Casualty reports came in all afternoon. The attack hit the whole perimeter, every sector. Coordinated assault. The Germans were trying to break through, trying to end it. They didn't break through, but they came close, real close. Baker Company lost 15 men, killed or wounded. Charlie Company lost 9. Able Company lost 12. Our company lost 4, 2 killed, 2 wounded. I knew them. Not well, but I knew them. I'd seen them around, talked to them in passing. One of them, Private Morrison, used to ask me about radios. He was interested in electronics, wanted to learn. Now he's dead. German 88 shell hit his position. Direct hit. They didn't find enough of him to bury. He was 19 years old. 19. Helen's age. How do I make sense of that? How do I process the fact that a kid barely older than my sister is just gone? Vaporized. Like he never existed. I can't make sense of it. So I just add his name to the list in my mind. The list of dead men I knew, the list that keeps growing. Stan, Morrison, Jenkins from Normandy, O'Brien from Holland, and all the others whose names I never learned but whose voices I heard die on the radio. The list is long, and it's only getting longer. Del Vecchio's head wound isn't serious. Shrapnel graze. He refused evacuation. They bandaged him up at the CP, and he came back. He's upstairs now, on watch. Eddie and I are taking shifts in the cellar. 4 hours on, 4 hours off. Right now it's my shift. Eddie is sleeping in the corner, or trying to. He keeps jerking awake. Nightmares maybe, or just the cold. It's so cold down here. The temperature must be below 0 now. The candle flame is the only warmth. I have both hands cupped around it. trying to absorb any heat it gives off. My feet are completely numb. I took my boots off again. 3 toes are now dark. Frostbite for sure. Maybe I'll lose them. Maybe I won't. Nothing I can do about it now. The batteries are dying faster in this cold. I'm changing them every 3 hours instead of every 4. Running out faster. I have 6 batteries left. Maybe 18 hours of operation. Then what? Then we're cut off? Then the company can't call for support? Then men die because I ran out of batteries. I have to make them last. I have to. I'm keeping all 4 spare batteries inside my jacket now. 2 in front, 2 in back. The weight is crushing. The cold metal against my skin is agony. But they're warming up. Slowly. Slowly. My chest is bruised from the batteries. Bruised and scraped and raw. But they're warming up. That's all that matters. The radio traffic is quieter now. Sporadic check-ins, status reports, a few artillery exchanges, but no major attacks. The Germans pulled back after the afternoon assault. They'll come again. Tomorrow maybe, or the next day. They'll keep coming until either they break through or we break them. And all we can do is sit here and wait and hope Third Army gets here before we run out of ammunition or food or will to fight. Captain Winters came by at dusk. He looked exhausted. Like he hadn't slept in days, which he probably hasn't. He asked about the radio status. I told him fully operational, all frequencies clear, all battalions in contact. He nodded. Then he just stood there for a moment, looking at the radio, at Eddie sleeping, at me with my hands cupped around the candle. You did good today, Kowalski, he said quietly. That antenna fix. Under fire. That took guts. I didn't know what to say. I just nodded. He put his hand on my shoulder. Keep it working. That's all I ask. Keep that radio working. Yes, sir, I said. He left. Keep it working. That's my job. That's my purpose. Keep the radio working. No matter how cold, no matter how scared, no matter how much my hands shake or my chest hurts or my feet freeze, keep it working. For the men on the line, for the company, for the battalion, for everyone depending on this link to stay alive. Keep it working. I can do that. I have to do that. I wrote a letter to Helen in my mind tonight, not on paper, just in my mind. I imagined what I'd say if I could tell her the truth. Dear Helen, I'm in hell. Actual hell. Not metaphorical, not exaggerated. Actual frozen hell. We're surrounded. We're starving. We're freezing. The Germans are trying to kill us and they're very good at it. I'm terrified. Every moment. Every breath. I'm terrified that the next shell has my name on it, that the next attack will be the one that breaks through, that I'll die in this cellar without ever seeing you again. But I'm still here. I'm still doing my job. I'm still trying. And I want you to know that if I die, it wasn't for nothing. I was doing something that mattered. I was keeping men alive. I was part of something bigger than myself. I was trying to be like Stan, trying to be brave. I don't know if I'm succeeding. But I'm trying. I love you, Helen. I love you so much. Stay safe, stay warm, stay alive. And if I don't make it home, remember me kindly. Remember me as I was, not as whatever broken thing survives this war. I love you, Jimmy. But I didn't write that. I can't write that. So I'm writing this instead. This diary, this record, this attempt to make sense of the senseless. And maybe someday, if I survive, I'll let her read it. Let her know what it was really like. Let her understand what her brother Jimmy went through in Belgium in December of 1944. Or maybe I'll burn it, destroy it. Let her remember me as I was before. The brother who built crystal radios and told terrible jokes and promised to come home. I don't know. I can't think that far ahead. All I can think about is the next radio check, the next battery change, the next shell, the next attack. One moment at a time, one breath at a time, stay alive. Keep the radio working. Stay alive. That's all. December 23rd, 1944. Morning. Bastogne. The sky cleared. I've been awake since dawn. Eddie woke me for my shift at 0400. I came up to the street level to check the antenna, and I saw it. Stars. For the first time in days, I could see stars. The fog was gone. The overcast was gone. The sky was clear and cold and full of stars, and I stood there in the frozen rubble of a Belgian town and stared up at them like I'd never seen stars before. Because they meant something. They meant visibility. They meant aircraft could fly. They meant resupply. They meant air support. They meant hope. By 0600, everyone knew. The word spread across the perimeter like wildfire. Clear skies, aircraft inbound, supply drops scheduled for 1000 hours. The tension in the radio traffic changed. You could hear it in the voices. Still professional, still calm, but underneath there was something new, something we hadn't heard in days. Hope. At 0930, we heard them, far off, a low rumble, getting louder, getting closer. C-47s, Douglas transports, our birds, American aircraft, coming to Bastogne. I ran up to the street level. Half the company was already out there, standing in the rubble, looking south, watching the sky, and then we saw them, a formation of aircraft, dozens of them, flying low, flying straight towards us. Someone started cheering, then someone else, then everyone. All of us standing in the ruins of Bastogne, surrounded by Germans, freezing and starving, cheering for aircraft we could barely see. They came in over the southern perimeter, flying through German anti-aircraft fire. We could see the black puffs of flak, could hear the boom of the German guns. One C-47 took a hit. Smoke poured from its engine, but it kept flying, kept coming. The crew was going to deliver their drop no matter what. The supply bundles started falling, parachutes blooming, red parachutes, yellow parachutes, blue parachutes, white parachutes. Each color meant different supplies, red for ammunition, yellow for food, blue for medical, white for miscellaneous. They fell like rain, like beautiful, life-giving rain, dozens of them, hundreds of them, drifting down through the clear morning air. Some landed inside our perimeter, some landed just outside, some landed right in German positions. We could see the Germans scrambling to recover them, but most landed where they were supposed to. Most landed with us. The cheering was deafening. Men were crying, laughing, hugging each other. We were going to make it. We were going to survive. We had supplies. We had hope. I stood there watching the parachutes fall, and I felt something break inside me, something that had been wound tight for days, something that had been holding me together through the fear and the cold and the certainty of death. It broke, and I started crying. Just stood there in the rubble with my face turned up to the sky, watching red and yellow and blue parachutes fall, and cried like a child. Eddie found me like that. He didn't say anything. He just stood next to me, and I realized he was crying too, both of us. Two radio operators standing in the ruins, crying and watching supplies fall from the sky. After the C-47s came the fighters. P-47 Thunderbolts, Jabos, big, beautiful, deadly fighter bombers. They came in low and fast. We could see them clearly. American stars on their wings. American pilots in the cockpits. They hit the German positions, strafed them, bombed them. Over and over. We could see the German vehicles burning. Could hear the explosions, could see the smoke rising from the woods where the Germans were dug in. For the first time in days, the Germans were on the receiving end. For the first time in days, we weren't helpless. We had air support. We had supplies. We had a chance. The supply drop lasted an hour, then the aircraft turned and headed south, back to their bases, back to safety. We watched them go. Watched them disappear into the southern sky. And then we got to work. Recovery teams went out to collect the bundles. Everything had to be brought in fast before the Germans could shell the drop zones or send patrols to steal the supplies. I monitored the radio, coordinated the recovery, directed teams to specific bundles, made sure everything got where it needed to go. Ammunition to the line companies, medical supplies to the aid station, food to the CPs for distribution. My battery pack got resupplied. They dropped spare BA-70s, crates of them. Beautiful, fresh, fully charged batteries. I damn near kissed them. Food came too. K rations, C rations, 10-in-1 rations. More food than we'd seen in days. Still not much, still rationed, but more than before. Enough to keep us going. And at noon, they told us, 3rd Army is moving. Patton's 4th Armored Division is pushing north. Fighting hard, taking casualties, but coming to Bastogne. Maybe 3 days, they said, maybe 4. but coming. We just have to hold 3 more days. 3 more days and we're relieved. 3 more days and this is over. 3 more days. I can do 3 days. We can do 3 days. We have supplies now. We have air support. We have hope. 3 more days. Eddie and I split a K ration for lunch. Canned meat, crackers, coffee, a piece of hard candy. We ate slowly, savoring every bite, making it last. The meat was salty and greasy and barely identifiable. It was the best thing I'd ever tasted. The coffee was instant, weak, made with melted snow. It was heaven. The hard candy was lemon flavored. I made it last 20 minutes, sucking on it slowly, letting the sweetness spread over my tongue. 20 minutes of pure joy from a piece of hard candy. Simple pleasures. That's what matters now. Hot coffee, a piece of candy, clear skies, supply drops, hope. Simple pleasures and staying alive. The German artillery picked up in the afternoon. They were angry about the supply drop, angry about the air support. They shelled us hard, but not like yesterday, not like the massive barrage that nearly killed us. Just harassment, anger, frustration. We stayed in the cellar, monitored the radio, kept the communication flowing, did our jobs, and through it all we had hope, real hope, not desperate hope, not wishful thinking, real hope based on real supplies and real aircraft and real progress by Third Army. 3 more days. I can make it 3 more days. Tonight, for the first time since we got here, I think I might actually survive this. I might make it home. I might see Helen again. I might sit at the kitchen table and drink real coffee and listen to the radio and feel safe. I might survive. 3 more days. Just 3 more days. December 23rd, 1944. Evening. Bastogne. I was wrong about hope. Hope is dangerous. This afternoon, we thought relief was close. 3 days, they said. Maybe 4. Patton is coming. Tonight, the radio traffic tells a different story. 4th Armored Division is meeting heavy resistance. Very heavy. German counterattacks. Tank battles. Infantry fights in every village. The advance is slow. Too slow. 3 or 4 days might be optimistic. Might be a week. Might be more. And the Germans know Third Army is coming. They're trying to break through before relief arrives, trying to end it now. The attacks have intensified, not just probing, full-scale assaults all around the perimeter, testing every sector, looking for weak points. Charlie Company got hit hard at dusk. German armor supported by infantry, 2 Mark IV Panzers, and maybe a company of infantry. Charlie held them off, destroyed 1 tank with a bazooka, drove off the infantry with small arms and artillery. But it cost them. 8 men dead, 15 wounded. The company is down to maybe 60 effective soldiers now. That's less than half strength. How long can they keep this up? How long can any of us keep this up? The optimism from this morning feels like a lifetime ago. The hope from watching the supply drop feels distant, fading. Because supplies don't win battles. Supplies help. Air support helps. But in the end, it's men on the line with rifles who win or lose. And those men are exhausted, frozen, depleted. How much longer can we hold? I don't know. Nobody knows. Del Vecchio came down an hour ago. His bandage is stained brown with dried blood. He looks worse than yesterday, older somehow, like the last few days aged him years. He sat on an ammo crate, didn't say anything for a while, just sat there, staring at nothing. Finally, he said, "You ever think about giving up, Jimmy?" I didn't know how to answer that, so I told the truth. Yes, every day, every hour. He nodded. Me too. He was quiet again. Then he said, "But we can't. You know that, right? We can't give up, because if we give up, everyone dies. Every man on this perimeter, every civilian in this town, everyone." "I know," I said. "So we keep going," he said. "No matter how bad it gets, no matter how scared we are, we keep going, because that's the job." He stood up, looked at me. "You're a good soldier, Jimmy, better than you think. Keep that radio working. Keep doing your job. That's all any of us can do." Then he left. A good soldier. I don't feel like a good soldier. I feel like a scared kid pretending to be a soldier, playing at courage while my hands shake and my stomach churns and my mind screams at me to run. But I can't run. There's nowhere to run to. We're surrounded. So I stay. I do my job. I keep the radio working. And I try not to think about tomorrow, about the next attack, about the possibility that Third Army won't get here in time. I try not to think about dying in this cellar, alone, cold, forgotten. I try not to think about Stan, about whether he felt this way, whether he was this scared, whether he wanted to give up too. Did you, Stan? Did you want to give up? Did you keep going anyway? Is that what courage is? Not the absence of fear, but the decision to keep going despite it? I wish I could ask you. I wish I could know. But you're gone, and I'm here, and all I have are questions with no answers. The radio just crackled. Battalion calling all stations. Alert status increased. Intelligence reports suggest major German attack coming. Possibly tomorrow. Possibly Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve. They're going to attack on Christmas Eve. Of course they are. Of course they'll choose the one day that means something. The one day that's supposed to be about peace and family and home. They'll attack on Christmas Eve, and men will die on Christmas Eve, and somewhere back home, families will be decorating trees and singing carols and opening presents, and they'll have no idea that here, in Belgium, in Bastogne, their sons and brothers and husbands are dying in the frozen dark. They'll have no idea, and we can't tell them. We can only fight and hope and try to survive. I need to try to sleep. Eddie's on watch. I'm supposed to get 4 hours. 4 hours to close my eyes and hope I don't dream. Hope I don't see Stan's face. Hope I don't imagine my own death. 4 hours. Then back to the radio. Back to the job. Back to pretending I'm not terrified. 3 more days, they said. 3 more days. But tonight, 3 days feels like forever. December 24th, 1944. Christmas Eve, Bastogne. They came at dusk. The attack we knew was coming. The attack we'd been waiting for. The attack that would decide everything. They came at dusk on Christmas Eve, and they nearly broke through. It started with artillery. Heavy. Concentrated on our sector, western perimeter, 506th positions. They were hitting us specifically. Targeting us. The barrage lasted an hour. An endless, horrifying hour of the cellar shaking and dust falling, and the certainty that the next round would be the one that buried us alive. But we survived the barrage. The cellar held. The radio kept working. We were still alive. Then the artillery stopped, and in the sudden relative silence we heard it. The sound we'd been dreading. Machine guns, small arms, shouting, German shouting. They were attacking, right here, our sector, our position. I grabbed the radio handset. Spearhead 6, this is Reliable Dog Easy. We are under direct assault. Enemy infantry in strength attacking our position. Request immediate artillery support. Danger close. I say again, danger close. Reliable Dog Easy, Roger. What are your coordinates? I read them off. The artillery would be landing within 100 yards. Maybe closer. But if we didn't get support, the Germans would overrun us. We'd be dead anyway. Reliable Dog. Easy, artillery inbound. 30 seconds. Take cover. I turned to Eddie. Artillery coming in. Get down. We dove behind the stone wall, pressed ourselves against the cold stone. Counted down. 20, 19, 18. I could hear the Germans outside, close, very close, boots on rubble, voices yelling orders in German, the snap of rifles, the burp of their MP40s, 10, 9, 8. Someone was coming down the stairs. American, one of our guys. He fell into the cellar, blood all over him. They're right behind me, he gasped. They're coming. 3, 2, 1. The artillery hit. The sound was beyond description, beyond comprehension. The cellar floor bucked. The walls groaned. Debris rained from the ceiling. I couldn't hear, couldn't think, could only press myself against the stone and pray. Again, again, again. Shells landing, one after another, walking across our position. American shells falling on American positions because we called them in on ourselves. And it worked. The German voices stopped. The boots stopped. All I could hear was the shells and the explosions and the screaming. Then silence. Relative silence. My ears were ringing. A high-pitched tone that wouldn't stop. But the shells had stopped. The attack had stopped. I crawled to the radio, grabbed the handset. Spearhead 6, Reliable Dog Easy. Artie on target. Effective. Enemy falling back. I say again, enemy falling back. Reliable dog easy, Roger. Well done. Can you confirm casualties? I looked around the cellar. Eddie was okay, shaken but okay. The soldier who'd fallen down the stairs was sitting against the wall, blood from a shoulder wound, but alive. I looked up the stairs. Smoke. Debris. No one moving. Spearhead 6. Assessing now. Will advise. I went up the stairs. Carefully, slowly. The building above was a different level of destroyed. What was left after the earlier bombardments was now gone. Just rubble. Just broken stone and splintered wood and smoke. And bodies. American bodies. German bodies. Mixed together in the rubble. Hard to tell which was which. Just bodies. I found Del Vecchio in what used to be the second floor. He was lying face down. I rolled him over. His eyes were open, staring, not seeing. There was blood coming from his ears, his nose, his mouth. Frank? I said. My voice sounded strange, distant, like someone else was talking. Frank? He didn't answer. I put my hand on his neck, feeling for a pulse. There was nothing. No pulse, no breath, nothing. He was dead. Sergeant Frank Del Vecchio. From Brooklyn. Who knew everything about radios? Who saved my life a dozen times with his advice and his calm professionalism and his bad jokes. Dead. A grenade. Probably. German grenade. Caught him before the artillery drove them off. I sat there next to him. In the rubble. In the smoke. My hand still on his neck. Still feeling for a pulse that wasn't there. And I couldn't process it. Couldn't make sense of it. Frank was indestructible. Frank was always there. Frank couldn't be dead. But he was. He was dead. And I was sitting next to his body, and he wasn't coming back. Someone grabbed my shoulder. Captain Winters. His face was black, with smoke, blood on his temple. Kowalski, Jimmy, come on, get up. We need you on the radio. I looked at him, looked at Frank, looked back at him. I couldn't speak. I know, Winters said quietly. I know, but we need you. The radio. Now. He pulled me up, guided me back to the stairs, back to the cellar. Eddie was already on the radio, coordinating with battalion, reporting the attack, requesting medical evacuation for the wounded. I sat down, put my head in my hands, started shaking, couldn't stop. Eddie finished his transmission, looked at me. Sarge? Dead, I said. My voice cracked. Frank's dead. Eddie's face went white. He didn't say anything. What could he say? We sat there. 2 of us now. Frank gone. Just us. Just the radio. Just the job. The attacks continued through the evening. Not just our sector, the whole perimeter. The Germans were trying everything, hitting everywhere, trying to break through before Patton arrived. They didn't break through. We held. All of us. All around Bastogne, we held. But the cost. God, the cost. The casualty reports came in all night, company by company, battalion by battalion, killed, wounded, missing. Our company lost 12 men. 12. In one evening, on Christmas Eve, Frank Del Vecchio, Corporal Jenkins, PFC O'Brien, Private Harrison, 8 more names I knew but not well. Young men, kids some of them, dead on Christmas Eve in a frozen Belgian town. And all I could do was sit in the cellar and relay the reports and listen to more men dying on the radio. At some point, someone came down with food, a K ration. I couldn't eat it, couldn't even open it, just sat there holding it. Eddie ate his, mechanically, like it was a task to complete. Not food, just fuel. Around midnight, the attack stopped. The Germans pulled back, exhausted maybe, or they'd run out of men to throw at us, or they were regrouping for another try. I don't know. I don't care. Frank is dead. The radio traffic changed. Someone came on the battalion net. The chaplain. He was doing a Christmas service, broadcasting it over the radio for all the men who couldn't attend in person, all the men in foxholes and cellars and aid stations. Silent night. Holy night. All is calm. All is bright. I listened to them sing. listened to voices singing Christmas carols over a military radio, while German shells fell in the distance. And I couldn't sing, couldn't join in, could only sit there with tears running down my face thinking about Frank and Stan and all the dead men whose names I knew and the dead men whose names I'd never know. Silent night. Holy night. I haven't been to church in years, not since my mother died. I stopped believing, stopped praying, stopped thinking God gave a damn about any of us. But tonight, sitting in a cellar on Christmas Eve with my friend dead upstairs and Germans trying to kill us and men dying all around me, I prayed. I don't know if anyone heard. I don't know if there's anyone to hear, but I prayed anyway, please. Please let this end. Please let us survive. Please let me go home. Please let me see Helen again. Please let me see the sun. Please let me feel warm. Please, please, please. That's all. Just please. I don't know if it's a prayer. I don't know if it counts. But it's all I have. Eddie is sleeping now, or trying to. Curled up in the corner, wrapped in a blanket, making small noises like a wounded animal. I'm on watch, monitoring the radio, doing Frank's job now, because Frank can't do it anymore. The radio traffic is quiet, sporadic check-ins, status reports. No more attacks. Christmas Eve is ending. Christmas Day is beginning. Merry Christmas, Helen. I hope you're home. I hope you're warm. I hope you're happy. I hope you're opening presents and eating cookies and singing carols and thinking about me. I hope you don't know what tonight was like. I hope you never know. I hope I can keep that from you. Merry Christmas, Stan, wherever you are. I hope you're at peace. I hope you're not hurting. I hope you know I'm trying. I'm trying to be like you. I'm trying to be brave. I'm not sure I'm succeeding, but I'm trying. Merry Christmas, Frank. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You deserve better than this. Better than dying in the rubble on Christmas Eve. Better than everything. I'll keep the radio working. I'll do the job. I'll make sure the communication keeps flowing. I promise. That's all I can give you now. The promise that your work continues. That the job you taught me to do will get done. I promise. The candle is burning low. I'm almost out of candles. Soon I'll be in the dark. Just me and the radio and the static and the darkness. But I'll keep working. I'll keep monitoring. I'll keep doing the job, because that's all there is now. The job, the mission, the radio, and the hope that tomorrow will be better, that Patton will come, that this will end. That's all I have left. Hope, and the radio, and the memory of a Brooklyn sergeant who taught me everything I know and died trying to keep me alive. Merry Christmas, Frank. Merry Christmas. December 25th, 1944. Christmas Day, Bastogne. I don't think I'll make it to 23. My birthday is March 15th. I'll be 23. That's less than 3 months away. I don't think I'll live that long. I've been sitting here all morning trying to process yesterday, trying to make sense of Frank dying, trying to figure out how I'm supposed to keep doing this without him. I can't. That's the truth. I can't do this without him, but I'm doing it anyway, because there's no choice. Eddie and I are the communication section now. 2 men, 1 radio, 1 job. Keep it working. Captain Winters came down at dawn. He looked like death, pale, exhausted. A man running on nothing but will. He asked about communication status. I reported all equipment functional, all companies in contact, no communication failures. Then he asked about Frank, about what happened. I told him, grenade probably, died before the artillery came in. Winters closed his eyes, took a breath. Then he said, Del Vecchio was a good soldier, one of the best. He kept this company connected since Normandy. We wouldn't have made it this far without him. I nodded, couldn't speak. You're the senior radio operator now, Kowalski. You and Martinez. You're it. Can you handle that? Could I? I didn't know. I didn't feel capable of handling anything. I felt like I was barely holding myself together. How could I be responsible for the entire communication network? But I said yes. What else could I say? Winters put his hand on my shoulder. I know it's hard. I know you're scared, but you're doing it. You're keeping the radio working. That's all that matters. Then he gave me an order. Battalion commander wants a status report from all communication sections. He wants to know how many operators we have left, how many radios, How many batteries? Write it up. I'll transmit it when you're ready. I wrote the report. It was short, depressing. Communication section, HQ Company, 506 PIR. Personnel, 2 operators. Corporal Kowalski, PFC Martinez. Equipment, 1 SCR 300 functional, 1 SCR 694 functional. Batteries, 4 B870 batteries remaining. Estimated 12 hours operation at current usage rate. Casualties, Sergeant Del Vecchio, KIA. Status, operational. Critical shortage of batteries. That's what we're down to. 2 men, 1 radio, 12 hours of battery life. Winters read the report, didn't say anything, just folded it up and took it upstairs to transmit. The battalion commander responded within an hour. Acknowledged. Additional batteries will be provided when available. Continue mission. When available. Not if. When. Like it's certain. Like relief is coming and supplies are coming and everything will be fine. I want to believe that. I want to believe batteries are coming. That relief is coming. That we're going to survive this. But I've stopped believing in certainty. I only believe in what's happening right now, in this moment. And right now I have 4 batteries, 12 hours. After that, I don't know. Food came around noon. Christmas dinner. They tried to make it special. Hot soup, actual bread, a small piece of chocolate. It was the best meal we'd had in days. Maybe weeks. In normal times, it would be nothing. Prison food. Worse than prison food. But here, today, on Christmas Day in besieged Bastogne, it was a feast. I tried to enjoy it, tried to taste it, tried to feel grateful. But all I could think about was Frank. About how he should be here, how he should be eating this meal, how he should be making some joke about the soup or the bread or the chocolate. But he wasn't here. He was upstairs, wrapped in a shelter half, frozen, waiting to be buried when the ground thawed, if the ground ever thaws. Eddie and I ate in silence. Neither of us could think of anything to say. What was there to say? Merry Christmas? Happy holidays? Hope you enjoy your Christmas meal? None of it made sense. None of it fit. So we said nothing. Just ate our soup and our bread and our chocolate and tried not to think about dead friends. A chaplain came around in the afternoon, making the rounds, visiting each position, offering prayers, offering comfort. He came down to the cellar, a young guy, maybe 30. He had kind eyes. Merry Christmas, soldiers, he said. We nodded. Merry Christmas, Father. He asked if we wanted to pray. Eddie said yes. I said okay. So we bowed our heads and the chaplain prayed. He prayed for our safety, for our health, for our families back home, for the men who died, for the men who would die, for peace, for hope, for an end to this war. He prayed and I listened and I wanted to believe. I wanted to feel something, some connection to God or faith or whatever makes prayer meaningful. But I felt nothing. Just cold, just empty, just tired. When he finished, he looked at us, really looked at us, like he could see right through us, see the fear and the exhaustion and the despair. You're doing God's work, he said quietly. You're keeping men connected. You're keeping them alive. Don't ever doubt that. Don't ever think what you're doing doesn't matter. Then he blessed us, made the sign of the cross, climbed the stairs and was gone. God's work. Is that what this is? Sitting in a frozen cellar, monitoring a radio, listening to men die? That's God's work? I don't know. I can't reconcile it, can't make sense of it. All I know is I'm still here, still alive, still doing the job. And I don't know if that's God or luck or stubbornness or what, but I'm still here. The radio traffic picked up in the afternoon. Not attacks. Intelligence reports. Good intelligence, 3rd Army is moving. 4th Armored Division punched through German lines. They're 10 miles out. Moving fast. They should be here by tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow evening. Tomorrow. One more day. One more day, and this is over. One more day and we're relieved. One more day and we can stop fighting and start healing. One more day. Can we last one more day? I think so. I hope so. The Germans know 3rd Army is close. They're desperate now. They're throwing everything at us, trying to break through before relief arrives. But we're holding. We're holding because we have to. Because if we break, everyone dies. Every man on this perimeter. Every civilian in this town. Everyone. So we hold. One more day. I wrote a letter to Helen today. In my diary. Not the truth. The truth is too horrible. The truth is Frank is dead and I'm terrified and I don't know if I'll survive tomorrow. I can't tell her that. So I wrote this. Dear Helen, Merry Christmas. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you're with Dad and Aunt Mary and all our family. I hope you're warm and happy and thinking of me. I'm fine. We're working hard, but we're fine. The food is decent. The weather is cold but manageable. The men I'm with are good men. We're doing important work. I think about you every day. I think about home, about Pittsburgh, about sitting in the kitchen, listening to the radio, about normal things, simple things. I miss those things. I miss you. But I'll be home soon. This war can't last forever. And when it's over, I'll come home and we'll sit at that kitchen table and drink coffee and listen to the radio and everything will be normal again. I promise. I love you, Helen. Merry Christmas. Your brother Jimmy. That's what I wrote. A lie. A beautiful, comforting lie. Because the truth would destroy her, and I can't do that to her. I can't make her carry my fear and my pain and my knowledge of death. So I lie. I write cheerful letters that paint a sanitized picture of war. And maybe someday I'll tell her the truth. Maybe someday I'll let her read this diary and understand what it was really like. Or maybe I'll burn this diary, destroy it. Let her remember me as I was, not as what this war made me. I don't know. All I know is right now, in this moment, on Christmas Day, 1944, I'm alive. Frank isn't. Stan isn't. Morrison and Jenkins and O'Brien and Harrison and all the others aren't. But I am. And as long as I'm alive, I have to keep going, have to keep doing the job, have to keep the radio working. For them, for all the dead men who can't do it anymore, for Frank, who taught me everything, for Stan, who I'm trying to honor, for Helen, who needs me to come home, for myself because I'm not ready to die yet. One more day, just one more day. I can do one more day. December 26th, 1944. Afternoon. Bastogne. They came. 3rd Army, 4th Armored Division, Patton's boys. They came. It happened at dusk. The same time the Germans always attacked. When the light was failing and visibility was poor and you couldn't tell friend from foe until it was too late. But this time it wasn't Germans. This time it was Americans. Coming from the south. Coming to Bastogne. Coming to save us. The morning was bad. The Germans knew relief was close. They attacked at dawn. Hard, desperate, trying to break through before 3rd Army arrived. Our sector got hit again. Not as bad as Christmas Eve, but bad enough. Artillery, infantry, the same terrifying routine we'd been living for over a week. Eddie and I stayed in the cellar, kept the radio working, called in artillery support, coordinated defensive fires, did Frank's job, did our jobs, and we held. Again. Somehow. We held, but the cost kept mounting. More casualties, more dead, more wounded. The company was down to maybe 50 effective soldiers. Half strength, less than half. How long could we keep this up? How long until there was nobody left? But we didn't have to answer that question, because at 16:30 hours the radio crackled. All stations this net, this is Spearhead 6. Be advised, friendly armor approaching from south. 4th Armored Division lead elements entering Bastogne perimeter. I say again, 4th Armored Division has reached Bastogne. We are no longer surrounded. Acknowledged by stations. I grabbed the handset. My hands were shaking. Spearhead 6. This is reliable dog easy. Message acknowledged. 4th Armored has reached Bastogne. I turned to Eddie. They're here. 3rd Army is here. His face went blank, like he couldn't process what I just said. Here? He repeated. They're here? They're here. We scrambled up the stairs, out of the cellar, into the ruins of the street level. Other guys were already there, looking south, pointing, and there they were, Sherman tanks, American Sherman tanks rolling down the southern road, coming into Bastogne, coming to us. I've never seen anything more beautiful in my life. The lead tank stopped at the perimeter. The hatch opened. A tanker climbed out. He looked exhausted. His face was black with oil and smoke, but he was smiling. You guys really surrounded? he called out. Someone yelled back, "We were." The tanker laughed. Actual laughter. "Well, you're not anymore." And that's when it hit me. Really hit me. We'd done it. We'd held. For over a week. Surrounded. Outgunned. Freezing. Starving. But we'd held. We'd won. Men were coming out of positions all over the perimeter. Coming out to see the tanks. To touch them. To prove they were real. I walked up to the lead tank. Put my hand on the cold metal. It was real. This was happening. We were saved. The tanker climbed down. He looked at us. At our condition. At our torn uniforms and frostbitten faces and hollow eyes. "Jesus Christ," he said quietly. "What did you guys go through?" Nobody answered. How do you explain it? How do you put it into words? The cold, the fear, the hunger, the dying. How do you make someone understand? You don't. You can't. You just say, "It was bad." The tanker nodded. We came as fast as we could. Patton pushed us hard, real hard. We had to fight for every mile. Lost a lot of men getting here. "Thank you," someone said. "Thank you for coming." The tanker looked embarrassed. "Just doing our job, same as you." More tanks were rolling in, more vehicles, supply trucks, ambulances, medical personnel, hot food, fresh ammunition, everything we needed, everything we'd been without for over a week. The corridor was narrow. The Germans still held positions on both sides. The road was under fire, but it was open. We weren't surrounded anymore. We'd made it. I went back to the cellar. Eddie followed. We sat down. Neither of us said anything for a long time. Then Eddie started crying, sobbing, his whole body shaking. I put my arm around him, held him, let him cry. And then I was crying too, both of us, sitting in the cellar, crying, releasing a week of terror and grief and exhaustion all at once. We're alive. We're alive. We're alive. That's all that mattered. We survived. We made it. Frank didn't. Stan didn't. Morrison and Jenkins and O'Brien and Harrison and all the others didn't. But we did. And I don't know how to feel about that. Grateful? Guilty? Both? I don't know. All I know is I'm alive. And the radio is working. And the message got through. We did our job. The casualty reports came in all afternoon. Final tally for the siege. Over 2,000 casualties for the 101st Airborne. Killed, wounded, missing, frostbite. Out of 18,000 men, our company lost 47 men, killed or wounded, out of 150. Almost a third. I knew some of them. Not all, but some. Frank Del Vecchio, 32 years old, Brooklyn. Corporal Jenkins, 24, Ohio. PFC O'Brien, 19, Boston. Private Morrison, 19, Michigan. Private Harrison, 20, Georgia, and on, names and ages and hometowns, each one a person, each one someone's son or brother or husband, each one someone who mattered, gone. I'm writing their names here, in my diary, so I remember, so someone remembers. They died at Bastogne, they died doing their jobs, they died holding the line, they died so the rest of us could live. I will not forget them. I will not let their deaths be meaningless. I will remember. Captain Winters came down this evening. He looked better. Still exhausted, but the weight seemed lighter. The relief seemed real. "You did good work, Kowalski," he said. "You and Martinez both. The radio never went down. Communication never failed. That's because of you." "Frank taught me," I said. It was Frank. "Frank taught you," Winters agreed. "But you did the work. You kept it functioning. You earned this." He handed me something. Orders. Typed orders from battalion. Commendation for Bronze Star, for maintaining communication under fire, for the antenna repair on the 22nd, for exceptionally meritorious service in support of combat operations. My second Bronze Star. The first was for Normandy, this one for Bastogne. I looked at the paper, at the official language, at my name typed there, and I felt nothing. No pride, no satisfaction, just emptiness. "Sir," I said quietly, "I don't want this. Give it to Frank's family. He's the one who deserved it." Winters shook his head. "Frank's getting his own. Posthumous recommendation already submitted. This one's yours. You earned it." He left. I sat there holding the orders, thinking about Frank, about Stan, about all the dead men who would never get medals or recognition or thanks, and I thought about how meaningless it all was. The medals, the commendations, the official gratitude, none of it brings them back, none of it makes this worth it. But maybe that's not the point. Maybe the point is just to survive, to do the job, to hold the line. Maybe that's all war is. Survival. And trying to give it meaning afterward. I don't know. I'm too tired to know. The corridor is holding. More supplies are coming in. More reinforcements. The 101st is staying on the line. We're going to push the Germans back. Expand the perimeter. Keep fighting. Because the war isn't over. Bastogne is over. The siege is broken. But the war continues. And we continue with it. Eddie is sleeping. First real sleep in days. He's finally relaxed enough to sleep deeply. I'm keeping watch, monitoring the radio. The traffic is different now. Less desperate, more routine. Like we're back to normal operations. Like the siege never happened. But it did happen. And we're different now. All of us changed by it. I don't know if I'll ever be normal again. I don't know if I can go back to being the person I was before. That Jimmy Kowalski from Pittsburgh who built crystal radios and promised his sister he'd come home safe. That person is gone. Bastogne killed him. And I don't know who I am now, what this experience made me. But I'm alive. That's something. Maybe that's enough. Tomorrow we push out. Tomorrow we attack. Tomorrow the war continues. But tonight, I'm going to sit here in this cellar, with the radio, with the static, with the memory of Frank and all the others. And I'm going to be grateful. Grateful that I survived. Grateful that the message got through. Grateful that I did the job. That's all I have. Gratitude. And the promise to keep going. For Frank, for Stan, for Helen, for myself. I'll keep going. The message will get through. That's all I can do. That's all any of us can do. December 27th, 1944. Morning. Bastogne. We're preparing to attack. Strange to write that after over a week of desperate defense. But that's what's happening. The 101st is shifting from defensive to offensive operations. We're going to push the Germans back, expand the perimeter, take back the ground they held. A new radio operator arrived this morning, PFC Robert Chen, from California, 19 years old, fresh from radio school. Replacement for Frank. But he's not replacing Frank. Nobody can replace Frank. He's just filling the position, taking over the role. There's a difference. Chen looks like a kid, baby-faced, eager, nervous, exactly how I probably looked when I first joined the company back in 43, before Normandy, before Holland, before Bastogne, before I knew what war really was. I'm supposed to train him, get him up to speed on procedures, on protocols, on how we operate. The problem is, I'm 22, he's 19, 3 years difference. But I feel decades older, like I've lived a lifetime in the last 2 weeks, like I'm ancient and he's a child and I have no idea how to bridge that gap. But I have to try, because he's here, he's my responsibility now. Frank's responsibility, my responsibility. So I showed him the setup. The SCR 300, the frequencies, the call signs, the authentication procedures. He took notes, asked questions, paid attention. He's smart, competent, he'll do fine. But he doesn't know, he doesn't understand. He thinks this is like training, like field exercises. He doesn't know that men die when the radio fails, that communication is life, that this job isn't about technical competence, it's about keeping people alive. He'll learn, the hard way, the way we all learn. God, I hope he survives it. Supply trucks rolled in all morning. Hot food, real food, coffee, fresh batteries, winter gear. Everything we should have had a week ago. The fresh batteries are a godsend. I now have 12 BA-70s, fully charged. That's 48 hours of operation, maybe more if I manage them right. I'm keeping the old ones inside my jacket anyway, force of habit. The weight is familiar now, comforting almost. Eddie laughed when he saw me. You don't need to do that anymore, Jimmy. We've got supplies now. I know, but I can't stop. The habit is too ingrained. Keep the batteries warm, keep them alive, keep the radio working. Some habits you can't break, even when you don't need them anymore. The hot food was incredible. Real beef stew, bread, coffee. Not K rations or C rations or 10-in-1 boxes. Real food. Hot food. Food that tasted like something. I ate slowly, savoring every bite, making it last. Chen wolfed his down in about 3 minutes. Eddie ate normally. I made mine last 20 minutes. When you've been hungry for over a week, food becomes precious, sacred almost. You don't waste it. You don't rush it. You honor it. Chen noticed. You okay, Corporal? He asked. I nodded. Yeah, it's been a while since we had hot food. The siege, he said. He'd heard about it, of course. Everyone had heard about Bastogne by now. It was becoming famous. The story was spreading. Yeah, I said. The siege? He wanted to ask more. I could see it in his face. He wanted to hear the story, wanted to know what it was like, wanted the details. But he didn't ask. Maybe he sensed I didn't want to talk about it. Maybe he could see in my face that it wasn't a story. It was trauma, grief, loss. Smart kid. He'll do fine. We got orders at noon. The 506th will attack tomorrow morning. Northeast sector. Our job is to push the Germans back. Take the villages they're holding. Secure the ground. It'll be house-to-house fighting. Urban combat. Slow, bloody, difficult. But at least we'll be attacking. At least we'll be doing something other than sitting in holes waiting to die. I briefed Chen on attack procedures, how communication works during an offensive, how to coordinate with adjacent units, how to relay status reports, how to call for artillery support. He listened carefully, took notes, asked good questions. He asked about casualties, about what happens when men get hit, about medical evacuation procedures, about how we report them. I told him the truth. Sometimes men die on the radio. You'll hear them get hit, you'll hear them scream, you'll hear them die, and you have to keep transmitting, keep doing the job, keep the communication flowing. Because other men are depending on you. Other men need support, need artillery, need evacuation. And if you fall apart, they die. His face went pale. Has that happened? Have you heard men die? Yes, I said, more than once. I didn't ask anything else after that. Captain Winters came by in the afternoon. He looked almost human again, rested, fed, clean-shaven, like he'd actually slept for more than an hour at a time. He introduced himself to Chen, welcomed him to the company, told him he was part of a good unit, a unit with history, a unit that had done something special. We held Bastogne, Winters said. Against impossible odds, we held. And part of the reason we held is because our communication never failed. That was Sergeant Delvecchio. That was Corporal Kowalski and PFC Martinez. They kept us connected, kept us coordinated, kept us alive. He looked at Chen. That's your job now. That's your responsibility. Live up to that standard. Honor Sergeant Delvecchio's memory. Do the work. Chen nodded, serious, understanding the weight of it. Winters left. Chen looked at me. Sergeant Delvecchio. He died here. Christmas Eve, I said. German grenade. Died protecting the CP. I'm sorry, Chen said. Me too. We sat in silence for a while. 3 of us. Eddie, Chen, and me. The communications section of HQ Company 506th PIR. What's left of it. Frank's absence is everywhere. In the empty space where he used to sit. In the silence where his voice used to be. In the work that he used to do that we're doing now. I miss him. God, I miss him. His confidence, his experience, his ability to make everything seem manageable. Like no problem was too big, no situation too desperate, just another challenge to solve. Without him, everything feels harder, more uncertain, more frightening. But we're managing, Eddie and I, we're doing it. And now Chen is here, we're rebuilding, moving forward. Because that's what you do, you survive, you grieve, and you keep going, that's all there is. I'm going to try to sleep tonight, real sleep, on an actual cot with a blanket, in a building that isn't being shelled. It feels decadent, luxurious almost, after over a week of sleeping in a frozen cellar, after over a week of constant fear. This feels like a palace. Tomorrow we attack. Tomorrow we go back to war. Tomorrow men will die, maybe me, maybe Eddie, maybe Chen, but tonight I sleep. Tonight I rest. Tonight I let myself believe that maybe, just maybe, I'm going to survive this war. Maybe. December 28th, 1944. Evening, Bastogne. We attack today. The 506 jumped off at 0800. Objective: woods northeast of Bastogne. German positions. Estimated company strength. Dug in. Fortified. It was everything I expected and worse. The attack was methodical, slow, deliberate. Not the desperate charges you see in movies. Just men moving through winter woods, taking cover, advancing, taking fire, returning fire, advancing again. Chen, Eddie, and I stayed at the CP with Captain Winters. Our job was to maintain communication with battalion and with the attacking companies, coordinate artillery, relay status reports, keep everyone connected. Chen handled his first combat operation surprisingly well. He was nervous. I could see his hands shaking when he wrote down the radio messages, but he did the job, stayed calm, didn't panic. The radio traffic was constant all day. Spearhead 6, this is Able 26. We have enemy contact. Machine gun position, bearing 090, distance 200 meters. Requesting artillery support. Able 26, Roger, stand by for artillery. Then to the artillery net, fire mission, coordinates, adjustments, fire for effect. Then back to Able Company. Able 26, artillery inbound, 15 seconds, over and over, company after company, request after request, artillery mission after artillery mission. It worked. The coordination worked. The Germans were dug in, but we had artillery now, plenty of it. Not rationed anymore. We could fire as much as we needed, soften up positions, break up counterattacks, support advances. The difference was staggering. During the siege, we fired maybe 40 rounds per day for the entire division. Today we probably fired 400, maybe more. When you have ammunition, war is different. Still terrible, still deadly, but different, more manageable, less desperate. We took the woods by 1500 hours. Able Company reached the objective, secured the position, enemy withdrew, mission accomplished. Cost, 7 killed, 20 wounded, Able Company down to half strength, but they held the objective. 7 more names for the list, 7 more men who won't go home. I didn't know any of them, not really. Faces I'd seen, voices I'd heard on the radio, but not friends, not like Frank. Does that make it easier? Does it hurt less because I didn't know them? No, it doesn't. Because they were still men, still soldiers, still somebody's son or brother or husband, still people who mattered. And they're dead. Dead in the woods outside Bastogne on December 28th, 1944. And all I can do is add their names to the list and keep going. Chen was shaken after. He'd heard the firefight over the radio, heard men reporting contact, heard the urgency in the voices, heard the screaming in the background. He didn't say anything, but I could see it in his face, the reality hitting him. This isn't training, this isn't an exercise. Men are actually dying, actually bleeding, actually fighting and killing. I remember that moment, when it became real for me, when I realized this was actually war and people were actually dying and I was actually here. It changes you. That moment, you're never the same after. Welcome to war, Chen. Welcome to the reality. Eddie and I split a sea ration for dinner. Canned hash, crackers, coffee. We gave our extra to Chen. He needed it more than we did. He tried to refuse, said we should share equally, but we insisted. He ate it gratefully. Afterward, he asked me about Frank, about what he was like, about his story. I told him about Frank from Brooklyn, about how he knew everything about radios, about how he taught me everything I know, about how he kept us alive through Normandy and Holland and Bastogne, about how he died on Christmas Eve trying to protect the CP. Chen listened, really listened. Then he said, I'll do my best to live up to that, to his standard. That's all you can do, I said. Do your job, keep the radio working, keep people alive. That's what Frank would want. Chen nodded. I will, I promise. Good kid, he means it. He'll try. Whether he succeeds or not, whether he survives or not, that's up to chance and fate and all the things we can't control. But he'll try. And that's all any of us can do. The 101st is staying on the line. We're not being pulled out, not being given a rest. We're continuing operations, pushing the Germans back, taking back the ground, expanding the perimeter. It makes sense tactically. We're already here. We're already engaged, Pulling us out would create a gap, would give the Germans an opening. So we stay, we fight, we keep going. How long? Nobody knows. Days, weeks, maybe months, however long it takes. I'm exhausted, bone deep exhaustion, the kind that sleep doesn't fix, the kind that comes from weeks of fear and cold and hunger and watching friends die. But I'm still here, still functioning, still doing the job, still honoring Frank, still trying to make Stan's death mean something, still trying to stay alive for Helen, still going. That's all I have. The ability to keep going, to put one foot in front of the other, to wake up every morning and do the job again, to survive another day. Is that enough? Is that victory? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe survival is its own victory. Maybe living when so many have died is a kind of triumph. Or maybe it's just luck. Random chance. Being in the right place at the right time. Or the wrong place at the wrong time, depending on how you look at it. I don't know. I'm too tired to philosophize, too tired to find meaning. All I know is I'm alive, the radio is working, the message is getting through, and tomorrow I'll wake up and do it again. That's all there is. December 29th, 1944. Afternoon, Bastogne. Quiet day, relatively speaking. No attacks, no major operations. Just consolidation. Defensive preparations. Patrols. Eddie went to the aid station this morning. His feet finally got bad enough that he couldn't ignore them anymore. 3 toes on his left foot are black. Frostbite. Severe. The medic looked at them, shook his head, said Eddie needs to be evacuated, needs a field hospital. Possibly surgery, possibly amputation. Eddie refused. Said he's staying with the unit, staying with the radio, staying with me. They argued. The medic said he could lose the whole foot if he doesn't get treatment. Eddie said he doesn't care. He's not leaving. Finally, they compromised. The medic treated what he could, bandaged the toes, gave Eddie sulfur pills to prevent infection, told him to stay off his feet as much as possible. Come back if it gets worse. Eddie limped back to the CP, sat down heavily. I'm not leaving, Jimmy, he said. Not until this is over. Eddie, I said, your foot. I know, he said. I know what could happen, but I'm not leaving. We started this together. We're finishing it together. I understood. I would have done the same thing. Hell, I am doing the same thing. My own feet are a mess. Not as bad as Eddie's, but not good. I'm ignoring it. Pushing through, doing the job, because that's what we do. We push through, we ignore the pain, we keep going until we physically can't anymore, and then we keep going anyway. Chen watched this exchange. I could see him processing it, trying to understand why would Eddie stay? Why not get treatment? Why risk losing his foot? Because the job matters. Because the mission matters. Because leaving your guys in the middle of a fight isn't something you do. Not if you're a soldier, not if you're part of something bigger than yourself. Chen will understand eventually. When he's been here long enough, when he's bled enough, when he's lost enough friends, he'll understand. I spent the afternoon writing letters, real letters this time, not diary entries, actual letters to send home. One to my father, telling him I'm okay, that I survived Bastogne, that I'm being careful, that I'm doing my job, that I'm proud to be serving, that I hope he's proud of me. I don't know if he is. He never said. When I enlisted, he just looked at me and said, Stan's gone, now you're going too. Like I was abandoning him, like I was choosing the army over family. Maybe I was, I don't know, but I needed to do this. Needed to be part of something, needed to prove myself, needed to honor Stan. Whether my father understands that or not, I don't know. But I wrote the letter anyway, told him I'm okay, told him I'm coming home. If that's true or not, I don't know, but that's what you write. That's what families need to hear. The other letter was to Helen. This one was harder. What do I tell her? What does she need to know? Not the truth, not the reality. She doesn't need to know about Frank or the cold or the fear or the dying. She doesn't need to carry that weight. So I told her about the relief, about Third Army arriving, about supplies and hot food and safety. I told her we're pushing the Germans back, that we're winning, that I'm fine. I told her I think about her every day, that I remember home, that I remember normal life, that I can't wait to come back and sit at the kitchen table and listen to the radio with her. I told her I love her, that I'm proud of her, that she should graduate high school and go to college and do something amazing with her life. I told her not to worry, that I'm being careful, that I have good men around me, that I'm safe. Lies. Comforting lies. But necessary lies. Because the truth would break her, and I can't do that to her. I can't make her live in fear every day wondering if I'm going to die. Can't make her imagine what it's really like here. So I lie. I paint a picture of war that's manageable. Difficult but not impossible. Dangerous but not terrible. And maybe someday I'll tell her the truth. When the war is over. When I'm home. When we're safe. Maybe then I'll let her read this diary. Let her understand what it was really like. Or maybe I'll never tell her. Maybe I'll carry it alone. Maybe that's better. I don't know. Captain Winters came by this evening. He wanted to talk about the Bronze Star, about the commendation, about the ceremony. There's not going to be a ceremony, sir, I said. Not here, not now. When we get pulled back, he said, when we get some rest. Battalion wants to do it right. You earned it. Sergeant Del Vecchio earned his. We're going to honor that. I didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to refuse, wanted to say, no thank you, give the medal to someone who really deserves it. I was just doing my job. But that would dishonor Frank. That would dishonor the work we did, the lives we saved, the communication we maintained. So I just nodded. Yes, sir, when we get pulled back. Winters smiled. Good. You should be proud, Kowalski. What you did here, what you're still doing, it matters. Don't ever doubt that. Then he left. Does it matter? I want to believe it does. I want to believe that keeping the radio working kept people alive, that the communication made a difference, that the job was important. But I also see the casualty lists, see the names of the dead, see how many men we lost despite everything we did. Does it matter? Did we make a difference? Or did men die anyway and all we did was document it? Record it for posterity? I don't know. I can't know. All I can do is the job. Keep the radio working, keep the message flowing, keep trying, and hope that's enough. Hope that it mattered. Hope that Frank didn't die for nothing. Hope that Stan didn't die for nothing. Hope that all the dead men, all the names on the list, died for something. For some purpose, for some meaning. I have to believe that. I have to. Because if I don't, if I believe it's all meaningless, then what's the point? Why keep going? Why keep fighting? So I choose to believe. I choose to believe the job matters. The mission matters. That keeping people connected keeps them alive. That communication is life. I choose to believe. Because the alternative is despair. And I can't afford despair. Not here, not now. So I believe. And I keep going. That's all I can do. December 31st, 1944. Late evening. New Year's Eve. Bastogne. 1944 is ending. In 3 hours it'll be 1945. A new year. What a year it's been. I try to remember who I was at the beginning of this year. January 1944. I was still training, still stateside. Stan had been dead for almost a year, but Mom was still alive. I was still naive, still thought I understood what war was. I didn't. I had no idea. In June I jumped into Normandy, D-Day. I was terrified, absolutely terrified. The plane ride over, the jump into darkness, the landing in the middle of a battlefield, the confusion, the chaos, the death. I thought that was the worst it could be. I thought nothing could be harder than Normandy. I was wrong. September was Market Garden, Holland. Another jump, another battle, more death, more fear, more friends lost. And then December, Bastogne, the worst of it all, the absolute worst. 1944 took everything from me, my innocence, my naivete, my faith, my friends. It took Frank, it took Morrison, it took Jenkins and O'Brien and Harrison and all the others. It tried to take me, came close, nearly succeeded. But I'm still here, somehow. Against all odds, I'm still here. What will 1945 bring? More war, that's certain. Germany hasn't surrendered. We're still fighting, still bleeding, still dying. How much longer? Months? A year? Nobody knows. But I have to believe I'll survive it. Have to believe I'll make it through. Have to believe that 1945 will be better than 1944. Have to. We're having a small New Year's celebration tonight, if you can call it that. Someone scrounged a bottle of cognac from somewhere. We're passing it around. Everyone gets one swallow. That's it. But it's something. a ritual, a moment to mark the passing of time. At midnight, the artillery batteries are going to fire, a barrage. New Year's fireworks, they're calling it. 1 minute of continuous fire, everything we've got, just to let the Germans know we're still here, still fighting, still defiant. I'm sitting in the cellar now, writing this by candlelight. Eddie is dozing in the corner. His foot is worse, but he won't talk about it, won't admit how much pain he's in, just grits his teeth and keeps going. Chen is upstairs, on watch, learning the job, learning what it means to be a radio operator in combat. He's doing well, better than I expected. He's quick, smart, attentive. He'll be fine. I've been thinking about resolutions, New Year's resolutions. What do I want for 1945? To survive. That's first. That's obvious. I want to live. Want to make it through this war. Want to go home. Want to see Helen. Want to sit at that kitchen table and drink coffee and feel safe. That's the big one, the one that matters most. But there are others, smaller ones, more immediate. I want to do my job well, want to honor Frank's memory, want to keep the radio working, want to keep people alive, want to make a difference. I want to help Chen survive, want to teach him everything Frank taught me, want to keep him alive long enough to go home, to have a life, to have a future. I want to stop being so afraid, want to find some peace, some acceptance, some way to live with the fear instead of being controlled by it. I want to forgive myself, for Stan, for not being there, for surviving when he didn't, for all the guilt I carry. I want to heal, someday. When this is over, I want to heal. Want to be whole again, want to feel normal again. I don't know if any of that's possible. I don't know if you can go through what we've gone through and come out whole. I don't know if healing is even an option after this, but I want to try. When the war is over, when I'm home, I want to try. That's my resolution, to try, to keep trying, to not give up, to survive, to heal, to honor the dead by living well. That's all I have. That's all I can promise. Someone's coming down the stairs. It's Captain Winters. He's carrying 2 tin cups. He hands me one. Coffee. Real coffee. Hot. Happy New Year, Kowalski, he says. Happy New Year, sir. We sit in silence for a minute, drinking the coffee, listening to the distant sounds of the war that never stops. You know, Winter says quietly, I've been thinking about the men we lost, Del Vecchio, Morrison, all of them, and I keep wondering if it was worth it, if holding Bastogne was worth the cost. I don't know how to answer that. I've been wondering the same thing. I think it was, he continues, not because of the tactical situation, not because of the strategic importance, but because of what it means, what we proved, that Americans can hold, that we don't break, that we don't surrender. We proved something here, about ourselves, about what we're capable of. He looks at me. You proved something too. You kept us connected, kept us coordinated, kept us alive. That matters. Don't ever doubt that it matters. Yes, sir, I say. He stands up. 15 minutes to midnight. You should come up, watch the fireworks. I follow him upstairs. The street level is crowded with men, all of us standing in the ruins, looking out at the perimeter, waiting. At midnight the sky explodes. Every artillery piece, every gun, every battery, all firing at once. The sound is deafening. The flashes light up the sky like daylight. The ground shakes. 1 minute of continuous fire. 1 minute of fury and defiance and survival. Happy New Year, Germany. We're still here. We're still fighting. We're not broken. The men are cheering, hugging each other, celebrating. Not because we're happy, but because we're alive. Because we survived. Because 1944 is over and 1945 has begun. I stand there watching the artillery flashes, feeling the ground shake. And I think about Frank, about Stan, about all the men who didn't make it to 1945. This is for you, Frank. For you, Stan. For all of you. This is for you. We survived. We held. We won. You didn't die for nothing. Your deaths mattered. You mattered. I promise. I'll remember. I'll make sure people remember. I promise. The artillery stops. The cheering continues. Someone starts singing Auld Lang Syne. Others join in. Off-key, rough, but sincere. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? No, they shouldn't. They won't. I won't forget. I'll remember. Happy New Year, 1945. We're still here. January 3rd, 1945. Morning, Bastogne. The 101st is being pulled from the line. The word came down yesterday. We're being relieved. Moving to a rear area in Luxembourg. Rest and refit. Replacements. New equipment. A chance to recover. Finally. We've been fighting continuously since December 18th. Over 2 weeks. The siege. The relief. The attacks afterward. Non-stop operations. No rest. No break. Now. Finally. We get to stop, get to breathe, get to heal. Or try to heal. We're leaving Bastogne, leaving this frozen hell, leaving the ruins and the memories and the dead behind. I should be happy, should be relieved, should be celebrating, but all I feel is empty, numb, like I used up all my emotions during the siege and there's nothing left. No joy, no relief, no happiness, just numbness. We packed up the equipment this morning. The radios, the batteries, all the gear. Chen helped. He's gotten good at it. Fast, efficient. He'll be fine. Eddie supervised. Can't do much physical work with his foot the way it is, but he directed. Made sure everything was done right. Made sure nothing was forgotten. We're taking everything with us. The whole CP, moving to Luxembourg, setting up in a new location, starting over, but it won't be the same. Frank won't be there. The siege won't be there, Bastogne won't be there, we'll be different, changed, and we can never go back to what we were. Before we left, I walked through the town, one last time, wanted to see it, remember it, understand what we fought for. Bastogne is destroyed, more than half the buildings are damaged or gone. The beautiful medieval town is now rubble. The stone buildings that stood for centuries are now broken walls and collapsed roofs. The civilians are returning, slowly, cautiously, coming back to see what's left of their homes. Some find ruins, some find nothing, just empty lots where houses used to stand. I watched an old woman standing in front of a destroyed building, just standing there, staring, not crying, not moving, just staring at the ruins of her life. What do you say to someone like that? What comfort can you offer? We saved your town, we held the line, we stopped the Germans. But in the process, we destroyed everything you had. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I walked past the town square, past the aid station where hundreds of wounded were treated, past the buildings where we fought, past the positions we held, and I thought about the cars, 2,000 American casualties, hundreds of Germans, dozens of civilians, and for what? To hold a town, to deny a road junction, to slow the German advance. Was it worth it? Was it worth Frank's life, Morrison's, all the others? I want to say yes, want to believe it mattered, want to believe their deaths had meaning. But standing there in the ruins of Bastogne, watching an old woman stare at the rubble of her home, I don't know. I honestly don't know. All I know is we did our jobs, we held the line, we survived, and now we're leaving. Trucks are loaded, the men are ready, we're moving out in an hour. I took one last look at the cellar where I spent over a week. The stone walls, the damp floor, the corner where Frank used to sit, the position where the radio saved our lives again and again. Goodbye, cellar. Goodbye, Bastogne. Goodbye, Frank. I hope you found peace. I hope wherever you are, you know that we made it, that we survived, that we did the job, that the radio kept working and the message got through. I hope you're proud. I hope you know that you saved our lives, that your teaching kept us alive, that we couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Frank. Thank you for everything. Rest in peace. The convoy is forming up. Time to go. Time to leave Bastogne behind and move forward. What happens next? I don't know. More war, that's certain. Germany hasn't surrendered. The fighting continues. We'll rest for a while. Then we'll be back in the line, back to combat, back to fear and death and all the things we've learned to live with. But for now, for a few days or weeks, we rest. We heal. We try to remember what it feels like to be human instead of soldiers. I'm looking forward to that, to sleep, to hot food, to safety, to not being afraid every second of every day. But I'm also afraid of the quiet, afraid of having time to think, afraid of processing what happened, afraid of remembering. Because as long as I'm busy, as long as I'm working, I don't have to think, don't have to feel, don't have to face what I've lost, but in the quiet, in the rest, I'll have to. I'll have to face it all. The fear, the grief, the guilt, the trauma. I'll have to face what Bastogne made me, what this war made me, and I don't know if I'm ready for that, but I don't have a choice. Ready or not, here it comes. The trucks are moving. We're leaving Bastogne, driving away from the ruins, away from the memories, away from the dead, but we're not leaving them behind. Not really. They're with us, in our memories, in our dreams, in the nightmares we'll have for the rest of our lives. We're carrying them with us, Frank and Stan and Morrison and Jenkins and all the others, carrying them forward, honoring them by surviving, by continuing, by living well. That's all we can do. Carry them forward, remember them, honor them, and keep going. That's all there is. January 5th, 1945, evening, Luxembourg. We're in Luxembourg now. Small village, clean, intact, no shell damage, no ruins, just normal buildings where normal people live normal lives. It's jarring, disorienting, like stepping into a different world. We're billeted in a house, an actual house with walls and a roof and a floor. The family who owns it moved upstairs. We have the downstairs, 3 rooms, a real stove, running water. Heaven. I took a shower today, the first real shower in over 3 weeks. Hot water, soap, clean towels. I stood under the water for 20 minutes, washing away the dirt, the blood, the smell of death, washing away Bastogne. It didn't work. The physical dirt came off, the smell faded, but the memories remained, the fear remained, the grief remained. You can't wash away trauma, can't scrub away nightmares, can't clean away guilt. But the hot water felt good anyway, human, normal. Like something from the life I used to have before all this. Clean clothes, new uniform, no holes, no bloodstains, no smell of cordite and death, just clean cloth. I barely recognize myself. Clean, shaved, fed, rested. I look almost normal, almost human. But my eyes are different. Older, haunted. The eyes of someone who's seen too much, experienced too much, lost too much. Frank's eyes looked like that. Stan's probably did too by the end. Now mine do. Eddie got real treatment today. Field hospital. Doctor examined his foot. Said the frostbite is severe. 3 toes are dead. Have to be amputated. Eddie took it calmly. 3 toes? He said. That's all? I can live without 3 toes. The doctor said he's lucky it's not worse. Another few days, and he could have lost the whole foot. Could have lost his leg. But I didn't, Eddie said. I stayed. I did my job. And now I've only lost 3 toes. That's a win. The surgery is tomorrow. After that, Eddie will be evacuated to a rear hospital. He won't be coming back to the company. Not for weeks. Maybe months. Maybe not at all. I'm going to miss him. He's been with me since the beginning. Through everything. Normandy, Holland, Bastogne. We survived together. Kept each other alive. Kept the radio working. Now he's leaving. Going home maybe. If the frostbite is bad enough, he might get a medical discharge. Might never have to fight again. Part of me is happy for him. He gets out. He gets to go home. He gets to live. Part of me is envious. I wish I could go with him. Wish I had an injury bad enough to send me home, but not bad enough to cripple me. A ticket out. A free pass. But mostly I'm just sad. Another friend leaving. Another person I care about going away. Another loss to add to the list. But at least this time, he's alive. At least this time, I'll know where he is. At least this time, there's a chance I'll see him again. That's something. Chen and I had a long talk today. About the job, about the responsibility, about what it means to be a radio operator in combat. You're it now, I told him. Yeah, and with Eddie gone, you're the backup. If something happens to me, you're the primary. You have to be ready. He nodded, serious, understanding the weight. I know it's a lot, I said. I know you're new, but you're good. You're capable. You can do this. Frank taught me. I'm teaching you. The knowledge passes down. The mission continues. I won't let you down, he said. I know, I said. Just do your job. Keep the radio working. Keep people alive. That's all anyone can ask. He asked about Frank again, about what he was like, about how he handled the pressure, about how he stayed calm. I told him the truth. Frank wasn't always calm. Sometimes he was scared. Sometimes he doubted himself. Sometimes he wanted to quit, but he never did. He always did the job, always kept working, always kept going. That's the secret, I told Chen. It's not about being fearless. It's about being afraid and doing the job anyway. It's about functioning despite the fear. That's courage. Chen thought about that. Were you afraid? At Bastogne? Terrified, I said. Every moment, every breath. I thought I was going to die 100 times. But you kept working. Because that's the job. Because that's what Frank would have done. Because men were depending on me. I understand, Chen said. If it comes to that, if something happens to you, I'll keep working. I'll do the job, I promise. Good kid. He means it. He'll try. And that's all I can ask. We got mail today. First mail since before Bastogne, weeks old. Letters from a different world, a different time. I got 3 letters from Helen, from early December, before she knew about Bastogne, before the siege was famous, before the news reached home. She wrote about school, about Christmas plans, about a boy who asked her to a dance, about normal teenage things. Reading her letters felt surreal, like reading messages from another planet. A world where dances and school and Christmas plans mattered. A world where people worried about normal things. I can barely remember that world. Can barely remember what it felt like to care about normal things, to have normal worries, to live a normal life. Will I ever be able to go back? Will I ever be able to care about dances and plans and everyday worries? Or am I too changed, too broken, too different? I don't know. I wrote back, told her I'm fine. I'm in Luxembourg now. Resting, safe. The weather's cold but manageable. The food is good. The men are good. Everything is fine. More lies. Comforting lies. Protective lies. Because I can't tell her the truth. Can't tell her about Frank or the cold or the fear or the dying. Can't make her carry that weight. So I lie. I paint pictures of a manageable war. Difficult but bearable. Dangerous but not terrible. And maybe someday I'll tell her the truth. Or maybe I never will. Maybe I'll carry it alone forever. Keep her safe by keeping her ignorant. Maybe that's what love is. Carrying the weight so others don't have to. Tomorrow Eddie has his surgery. Tomorrow he leaves. Tomorrow another piece of my war ends and a new piece begins. I should be used to this by now. The constant change, the constant loss, the constant need to adapt and keep going. But I'm not. Every loss hurts. Every goodbye costs something. Every change takes a piece of me with it. But I keep going anyway. Because that's what you do. That's what soldiers do. You lose. You grieve. You adapt. You keep going. There's no other choice. The war continues. The fighting continues. And we continue with it. Until it ends. Or until we do. January 9th, 1945. Afternoon. Luxembourg. Final entry. For now anyway. Things are settling into a routine. Rest. Training. Recovery. Time to close this chapter and try to move forward. Eddie left yesterday, after the surgery, 3 toes gone, bandaged foot, crutches, orders to report to a field hospital in France. From there, who knows, maybe home, maybe back to the States, maybe a medical discharge. We said goodbye at the truck. Didn't say much. What was there to say? We'd been through it all together, survived together, lost friends together, kept the radio working together. Words weren't necessary. We just shook hands, held on for a moment. Then he climbed into the truck and was gone. Another goodbye, another friend leaving, another piece of my war ending. But at least he's alive. That's what I keep telling myself. At least Eddie made it. He's going home. He'll heal. He'll have a life. He'll have a future. That's more than Frank got, more than Stan got, more than all the others. Eddie survived. That's victory. That's triumph. That's all we can hope for. Chen is fully trained now. He knows the procedures, the protocols, the job. He's competent, capable, ready. He'll do fine. I trust him. Frank would have trusted him. That's all that matters. Captain Winters held a small ceremony yesterday. Awards and commendations for Bastogne, my Bronze Star, Frank's posthumous Bronze Star, others for other men. They pinned the medal on my uniform, shook my hand, said congratulations, said I earned it, said I should be proud. I felt nothing. just numbness, just the weight of a metal star on my chest that couldn't bring Frank back, couldn't undo what happened, couldn't make any of it mean something, but I accepted it. For Frank, for the work we did, for the men we kept alive, and I'll keep it. Not as a point of pride, but as a reminder of what we did, what we survived, what we lost, a reminder that the job mattered, that keeping the radio working kept people alive, that communication was life. That's what I choose to believe. That's what I have to believe. Otherwise, what was it all for? I've been thinking about this diary, about what to do with it. It started as a way to record events, to process trauma, to make sense of the senseless. Now it's a record of Bastogne, of the siege, of what it was really like. Not the sanitized version, not the heroic narrative, but the real thing, the fear, the cold, the hunger, the dying. Should I send it home? Let Helen read it? Let her know what it was really like? Or should I keep it? Hide it? Burn it eventually? Keep her protected from the truth? I don't know. Maybe someday I'll decide. Maybe someday I'll know what to do with it. But for now, I'm keeping it. It's my testimony, my evidence, my proof that this happened, that we were here, that we did this, that Frank and Stan and all the others existed, mattered, died for something. I have to believe they died for something. Tomorrow we start training, new tactics, new procedures, preparing for the next operation. The war isn't over. Germany hasn't surrendered. The fighting continues, and we continue with it. How much longer? Nobody knows. Months probably, maybe more. The Germans are retreating, but they're not broken. They'll fight. We'll fight. Men will die. Maybe me, maybe Chen, maybe all of us, or maybe we'll survive. Maybe we'll make it through. Maybe we'll live to see the end of this war and go home and try to rebuild our lives. I don't know. I can't predict the future. All I can do is the present. Do my job. Keep the radio working. Keep people alive. Keep going. That's all I have. The present moment, the job, the mission, and the memory of the men I've lost, Frank and Stan and all the others. I carry them with me. In my heart, in my mind, in this diary. They're with me, always. And I'll honor them by living well, by doing good work, by staying alive, by making their sacrifice mean something. That's my promise. To them, to myself, to everyone depending on me. I'll keep going. I'll do the job. I'll make it mean something. The message got through. We survived. We held Bastogne. We did what we were supposed to do. And now we move forward into the unknown, into the rest of the war, into the future, whatever that holds. I don't know what comes next, but I'll face it. I'll survive it. I'll do my job, because that's what soldiers do. We keep going. We adapt. We survive. We honor the dead by living well. That's all I can do. That's all any of us can do. So I close this diary for now. I'll open it again if something important happens, if I have something to say, if I need to process something. But for now, I close it. I put down the pen. I try to move forward. Bastogne is over. The siege is broken. We survived. Now comes the hard part. Living with what we did, what we saw, what we lost. Living with the memories, the nightmares, the guilt, the grief. Living with being a survivor when so many didn't survive. That's the real battle, not the fighting, not the dying, but the living, the surviving, the carrying on. I don't know if I'm strong enough. I don't know if I can do it, but I'll try. I have to try. For Frank, for Stan, for Helen, for myself, I'll try to live well, to do good work, to make it mean something. That's all I have. The commitment to try, the promise to keep going, the message got through. We're still here. That's enough. That has to be enough. For Frank, for Stan, for all of them, for me. We're still here. We did the job. The message got through. That's enough.